Alrighty, man. Let's do this. Let's talk about some very disparate bullshit. One of those disparate bullshit type days. Yesterday was a 5-hour tier list. I don't think today is going to be a 5-hour tier list. Let me go over here. Excuse me. There you go. Go over here. Grab this. Beep bop. I'm live. So true. Alright, kill this. Bring that over here. Move that down. One of these. Mayhaps and even perhaps. And this. There we go. Grab his ass. I really like this. This roster select music is kind of crazy, honestly. This little like synth part almost. I fuck with it heavy. Yep, seems right. All right, and then put this over here. There we go. Good to go. All right, and then perfect. What do we want to do for? I think there's a couple of different things I want to talk about. Yeah, I mean, the general idea of just you get to master 40 times. You sort of get a little bit of an idea how it can be done, and what things really are necessary, what things are important, and what isn't as much. I think I want to talk about that a little bit. We probably don't need like. I do want to do like different kind of tier list later too. So let me just pull it up for now. I'll go through, man. Hello there, Bled. How are you? Tier lists. There you go. I'll pull this up. We'll reset this, and then we'll do it again later. But that's later. That's not right now. Hey, I'm good, big dog. How are you doing? There you go. Good and perfect. Yeah, I mean, I guess we just grab like Gran and Gita and get in here. It's fun. Might get like some Enlightener in here. I fuck with Uno theme. Honore theme. I still can never decide on how I want to say that fucking guy's name, man. I like Uno better, but I feel like most people don't know who the fuck I'm talking about when I say it. Well, not most people, but a lot of people don't know who the fuck you're talking about when you say Uno, man. Like, it doesn't register to motherfuckers, which is fair. I still don't even fully understand, like, how the localization for all the different Eternals and shit like that actually works. Coming at ya. Let's see. Yeah, do that. Talk about the roster. How's the game's going? Pretty good. I mean, we're not really gonna be playing too much of the video game today. I think we're just gonna be talking a little bit, but you know, I'm doing well in general. It's a cute little emote you got there. What is that? Oh, a little head bat. I love head bats. Little head bat emote. Very, very fun. Twitch bitch reward. What the hell does that mean? Actually, not sure. I've seen that before. But yeah, I think what I wanted to talk about today, at least to start, is just, again, you know, we've gotten the whole roster to master, 37, not 40, because there are 40 characters, but for Gran, Narmaya, and Jita EX, they were already in master when we played them. So we've only gotten to master 37 times, which, now that I say that out loud, is a fucking crazy number, but you know. And you do that enough times, you start to pick up an idea for what kind of things are actually useful to accomplish that goal and what kind of things are maybe more secondary. So I just want to have a quick discussion about this because, I mean, it kind of fits into the guides that I made earlier. It sort of does reinforce a lot of what I thought I knew when I made the guide, which to be fair was already based on like a lot of Road to Master experience, and I think it does hold up. Really, the big thing, I think, is that just fundamentals and a game plan is a lot more important and takes you way further than you might think. I am genuinely curious at some point to like completely start up like a brand new account. The last little bit of smurfing I'll ever do, the last little bit of evil I'll ever visit on the world, and then I'll be a good boy forever. But just like get from B rank to a master rank or D rank to master rank, entirely just doing the things that I outlined in the guide. I think that could be fun. Now we could do stream rewind only now thanks Twitch, I guess. Wait, really? Can you go back in the VODs? You couldn't do that before. Is that a thing? That's cool. I don't think you could have only done that on YouTube before, right? It was one of the things the YouTube player had. Was quite nice. But yeah, so when I say fundamentals and like a game plan, right? What I mean by that is it really is all about understanding what your character does well, how you want to translate that into a game plan, and then just like a lot of it honestly is a lot of general universal stuff, past just like understanding your character's strengths, weaknesses, and game plan. What it isn't, a lot of it is you don't necessarily need really any strong amount of labbing, I don't think. Certainly matchup knowledge can help, but I feel like combos especially, right? Combos is something that I'm the permanent anti-combo crusader. But, like, one of the things that I really tried to do on a lot of the Road to Masters is, like, do my best to just learn, like, a basic BMB and go. On some of the later ones, just for the sake of exploring what the characters could do and, like, what their damage potential might look like and things like that as part of evaluating them, I definitely learned some, like, you know, slightly more advanced combos and stuff like that. But really, it just doesn't, it's really not important. It really is unimportant because at the end of the day, say that, you know, one person is doing this when they're playing Grand, right? They're doing that. That combo is not very good. Everyone will tell you that combo kind of sucks. You're just doing, like, auto combo, boot, and wall bounces, doing auto combo again, and you're dropping. That's, like, inefficient use of combo limit. It's not the most damage you could get. You could be dumping resources here, whatever. And the other person is doing, you know, something like, I mean, it's probably, I don't even know if this is, like, more damage than another alternative Grand has or something like that, right? Like, you know, a slightly more extended combo like this, or like even something where I think Grand can get close H after this? No, he can't, yeah. So like even something where you go like boop, bop, this, that, and then maybe you like extend a little bit there, right? That's 5,800 damage. So it is true, the person that's doing the better combo is getting, you know, 1,100 more damage. Characters have 16,000 health on average in this video game. So if you're doing that combo to people, I mean, obviously not all of your hits are going to be in the mid screen or in the corner, right? Most of them actually are probably going to be in the mid screen or something adjacent to the mid screen. But for the sake of argument, let's say that everyone is just getting hits in the corner mostly. The guy doing the corner combo that does 5,800 damage, he's going to kill in what, 3 touches? And the guy doing the combo that does 4,700, which is significantly, like, simpler and, like, almost universal. You can learn one combo like this that works on the entire cast. Everyone in the video game can do something like auto combo, EX special in the corner, into auto combo again. We're going by character order, the order you did the characters in. We'll do that later. Right now, I'm just kind of more so talking general, like what gets you to master and what's actually not that useful. We'll talk about the roster as a whole later, certainly. But yeah, so you have to get one extra touch. You have to get one extra touch. That matters. It can be a lot harder to find that. Well, actually, I say that. Yeah, you have to get one extra touch compared to the person who's doing the 5,800, right? That's not nothing, right? My point here is not to say that, you know, figuring out like a better combo, a better use of your character's tools to get more damage, it's not worthless. It's obviously there's value there, but I find that it's harder to get one extra touch. Then yeah, I mean you have to hit the opponents one more time, right? That matters. At the end of the day, it's not like you just walk up to people, hit the medium button, and they get hit, right? You have to hit them one more time, you have to guess right one more time, you have to pressure them in some way one more time, and that does matter. But I find it comes at an opportunity cost for a lot of, you know, intermediate and even lower level players. You can, like, if you're like smurfing or whatever, you can do all of this at once, right? You can pick up a pretty solid BMB for your character, and you can keep your offensive fundamentals in mind because you've already learned them, and you can figure out the character's game plan and you know matchups, so you can play the character well into the matchups as is. But realistically, that is a lot of information. That's a lot of information, and if you don't already have a lot of that locked into your cerebellum, then it's gonna be tough, right? And of that, I find that all of the other fundamentals I mentioned, besides, you know, optimizing your combo by 20%, are much more important. In the sense of, for example, again, how do you get that hit in the first place? Right? If you are 50% better at getting the hit than the guy who has to touch someone 3 times, you have to touch them 4 times, but you're going to find 50% more touches, you're going to win more often, right? Very, very vague mathematical equation there, but I think you get the idea. If your offensive fundamentals are better, then you need to do less damage per hit. Yeah, that really is it, right? So I find a lot of people who, like, when they get a hit, when they find the hit, they're doing like these really optimal combos, they're doing really good stuff, like they're in like S+, and they're doing, you know, the characters like near optimal. And I'm very impressed with that, because I'm like, damn, when did you find time to learn that? But at the same time, I find that a lot of these people, you know, when they get someone into the corner, their pressure kind of consists of like this. You know, they're just doing kind of this. Over and like just kind of doing auto combo into like maybe a special every now and then into like a button, and they get kind of pushed out by a guy who just down backs, and then from here they find it a little bit awkward for themselves. Maybe they'll try to 6XL again, but they might get kind of mashed out on and die. Maybe they just kind of like sit here for a bit. I mean, they lack a lot of direction on their offense. They seem to have a misunderstanding of what their goal is and what their options are on both offense and defense. The same person who gets a, you know, insane amount of damage on every single hit, they might just be mashing way too often on defense, DPing way too often on defense. They like don't brave counter. They get caught by a lot of knowledge checks in other matchups. Yeah, that's a good point too, Echo. Like worst, they like do things that like they've seen better players do, and but you can tell they don't know why they're doing it, right? Like they'll like walk up to a guy, like do this, and then they'll kind of like do that for a little bit or something, and then they'll just auto combo again. Right? This person, significantly easier to beat than a guy who's just, you know, they have their offense fundamentals down, but when they hit you, they do this. This guy's significantly scarier. Because the fact of the matter is, having good or bad offense is a lot more binary once you reach a certain skill level than having good combos. You know, if that makes sense. Hi gamers, hello there, Futsu, also hello Hunts. What do I mean by that? I mean that you can have a combo that is, you know, good enough. Like it's not great, but it does good enough damage compared to someone who's doing like the optimal, like something like, or something close to the optimal, something like this, right? Something like this, and like maybe every now and then when you recognize that you have a 100 meter, you do your super or something, right? And you're and like your big showing. That's good enough. Like, yes, could that be improved? Indeed. But is that going to like it single-handedly make it so that when you hit a guy, you just don't do any damage? No, it's much more of like it's a spectrum, right? You can have like a combo that is 70% of the way there. Whereas in a lot of cases, once you reach a certain level of skill, if your offensive structure or your defensive structure is not good enough, you sort of just don't open people up, right? Unless you get lucky, unless they just like happen to get impatient and mash or something like that. I see a lot of people in S+ who play, again, pressure like this. Like they just do auto combo into, like, I guess, hoping that their opponent mashes when they run in on them, into like auto combo again. It's like plus frames, hope that the opponent mashes. If they don't, you just kind of get pushed out and nothing happens. Once you get to a certain point in skill, if your fundamentals and combos, I mean, kind of count, but like a basic combo is a fundamental. An advanced combo or more optimal combo, I would not refer to it as. But like if your offense, if your game plan, if your defense are not good enough, you just completely run up against a wall and it stops, right? Nothing's like you just completely plateau. Whereas like a kind of bad combo is never going to be the reason that you plateau. So I think it's much more important to focus. I was stuck in S+ exactly for that. There's nothing worse than feeling I don't know how to open them up. They're invincible. Yeah, exactly, right? Because it's also, I'll be honest, it feels like the most frustrating way to lose as well, right? Because if you just like, if you're playing the game, you're getting hits on people, whatever, but it just so happens like they killed you before you killed them, it's, you know, oh well, we'll get them next time. But if it feels like every time that you get a turn, they just kind of block you out, you never get to feel like you're playing the video game, hitting people is fun. People like to hit people. You never really feel like you're getting value out of your turns, and then every time you get put in the corner, they're like throwing you, they're opening you up, you're getting counter hits. This is where I think a lot of people, I've had a lot of people come in here and be like, oh, like this is hopeless. Like I just can't, I don't have any options that work. I can't open people up. Like defense sucks in this game. My character can't run pressure. Everyone else's character can run pressure. What am I doing? Like it's horrible. So I think it's very important. Feels bad, man? It feels bad. It feels bad. How do you do a Neela's pressure when I do hop, and when do I do hop and which hop? Another thing I've noticed fighting masters, I'm bad at pressure and opening up people. You do hop mid-combo to get safe jumps. I would not do a Neela's hop for pressure most of the time. usually you're just going to die. Anila, the pressure that Anila runs is going to be very standard strike throw. You can use her 2-2-U, like her little U hop as a throw bait sometimes. And then you just do Grand Blue Zone otherwise, poking at people from long range with your big buttons and converting that into sheep wall bounce into damage. You do not use hop for pressure. It's a great way to get 2H'd and die. This is where the game feels so blah, but when I learned God is like an opening, yeah. I felt like I had a massive wall when I hit S with Catalina. It's my first fighting game too. I think when I learned what to do fast though, but haven't had the chance to play enough regarding offense and opening up people. Yeah, see, a lot of people suggest like saying the same thing. It is you do not pass go, right? If you don't learn certain offensive, especially offensive really, but even like defensive and eventually neutral fundamentals, you just start to lose. And because it's a lot more nebulous than just, you know, oh, this guy was doing 4.7 thousand damage and I was doing 3.5 thousand damage. He's doing more damage. Maybe I can look into that. That's a much easier thing for people to diagnose. It looked like every time that they hit me, there was more red in my health bar than when I hit them. So you can almost, it's a lot easier to look at that and go, oh, I'm losing because I'm not doing enough damage. And how do I do more damage? I have to spend time labbing out my combos and get better at my combos. Whereas when you lose because you just aren't opening people up, or every time you're on defense, you're just getting murdered, or you're always losing neutral, it's a lot more insidious if you're a beginner level player especially, but even sometimes if you're like an intermediate, like an S+, S++ level player, you can still sometimes be like, I don't really know, it just feels like I go online, I queue up, and I lose, and I don't know what to do about it. The way to avoid this, right, in the first place, because you've shaped your view of the game around the wrong thing, and then you've come to the wrong conclusions, and it doesn't immediately punish you for it, but eventually you hit a wall, and it feels like it just came up suddenly, right? It feels like suddenly nothing I'm doing works anymore. I guess I'm just not good enough to do this. But realistically, what's happened is you've set yourself down a path to failure from, like, A rank, and you just, it only really hit you in the fucking nuts at a certain, like, once you got up to those higher levels. And again, that path to failure is not properly focusing, not building yourself on a strong foundation, and instead focusing on, like, the easy, quick, like, low-hanging fruit that feels good when you do it, which is just labbing out a trading mode combo, hitting a guy for, like, 9k damage, and being like, oh, this is gonna be so dope when I hit them. And then when you actually land that combo, it's fun. I'm not even saying it's not, like, it's fun to, like, lab out a combo, finally landed in like a real match, see the sheer amount of red that you've landed on a dude's HP bar, and be like, dude, I'm fucking sick. I'm him. I'm amazing. And listen, if you enjoy doing that, do that. All right. It's like math. Lose all the audience. Yeah. If you enjoy doing that, do that. Right? At the end of the day, if that's like the funnest thing for you, is you just like labbing combos and trying to hit them, absolutely. But if you want to think about long term and you like winning and you don't like lose, like you don't like that feeling where you feel like you're stuck in a rank and you care a lot about progressing, you care a lot about getting better, then, you know, for your long term fun, I would recommend focus a lot more on your offense, focus a lot more on your defense, focus a lot more on your neutral, focus a lot more on understanding your character's game plan and what that looks like. And then, once you've had your vegetables, and I mean, for me, this stuff is fun too, but like, you know, if that's the kind of thing where it feels like homework to you, we can talk about that. Like, once you've had your vegetables, then you can lab out some of your combos, right? And what do I, when I say this, I mean, I've talked about this ad nauseum. Again, I have a 4-hour guide where I talk about this at quite a lot of length, but fun, if I had to summarize like all of this in my closest attempt at like 10 minutes, right? When you are like, if we're talking about offensive fundamentals, right? You want to focus on, again, know what moves in your kit are plus on block. Use those moves to start your offense. For every character in the game, this is going to be either your 5L or your close L and your dash L, right? Your 6XL. These two are plus. You might have other things. Grant has EX Fireball. He has like Spaced Boot as well. Not quite that far away, but he's got like Spaced Boot, which is going to be plus as well. He has his 2M. There are universal things, then there's character-specific things. Figure out what tools your character has that are plus on block. Start your offense off of there, and then focus primarily on either if they're mashing, you want to do a plus frame into a frame trap, or you want to do a plus frame into a throw if they're not mashing. And then once you get to a certain point, we can talk about delay tech and things like that too, but that's a little bit, you know, again, I've talked about that at length, but if you know about delay tech and, you know, figure out what that option select is, figure out how to beat it, and if you can tell that someone's doing it, then function your offense on like plus frame into thing to beat delay tech as well. And then be unpredictable with these options, because if you're always frame trapping, people are just gonna block, and because when you frame trap most of the time, you end up in a situation where you're gonna lose your turn. If you're always throwing, people are going to mash. So be unpredictable on your offense, right? Very similar idea on your defense. Watch what your opponent is doing. Watch what patterns they're showing in their offense. Don't just mash and DP. Down back, it's good, right? Sit there, down back, wait. Try to gather information on how your opponent is pressuring you and make a guess. Are you going to be wrong sometimes? Yes. But intentionality in what you're doing I guess that's actually a very important, like if I had to summarize all of it, is doing everything with intention. You might be wrong, right? You might be wrong. You might not have the right idea. You might have got, but like, at least if you're doing things actively with like a active mind and you have a reason for trying out the things that you do, then you can kind of scientific method this shit a little bit, right? You're like, I want to do X and Y and Z on offense because it feels to me like it's going to work. And then you can test it out against real people and it either works and you're like, awesome, I'm on the right track, and you keep going until it doesn't. Or it doesn't work and you go, all right, wait, is this as completely fucked up? Or, you know, what about it am I missing here? And sometimes, if you don't have, this is more like an intermediate thing, for sure. If you don't have the context to even know what your options are, this is where, you know, looking up guides, looking up things like this can help within reason. Again, shameless plug. But, you know, if you are structuring your offense around, I'm going to, you know, do plus frames into frame trap because I want to stop mashing. And if they're not mashing, then they're going to sit still. So the complementary option to that is throwing them, right? That's a good start. That's a good place to be. And you're going to find, and if you are able to practice mixing up, not just always doing throw or always doing frame trap, then you're going to be a lot harder for these people. You know, we just mentioned how on defense, your goal is to try and figure out what the opponent is doing, figure out if there's a lot of patterns in what they're doing, and kill them for it. If they're being really unpredictable on offense, your job as a defender gets a lot harder, right? So again, it's a flipped situation. So when you're on offense, you should think about how can I make the defender's life as miserable as possible, and it's by being an unpredictable little shit. Right? But unpredictable within a good range of options. I mean, you know, super jump back when you have them in the corner is unpredictable, but it's kind of bad, right? Because again, what are our goals? Our goals are to hit the opponent. Our goals are to hit the opponent and kill them. This doesn't help me hit the opponent, right? Think about things from first principles. I want to hit her, I want to kill her. This doesn't help me kill her. So focus on your offense, focus on your defense. Again, a big thing with defense as well is please stop matching. Down backing is really good, right? Think about, again, what you have to do on offense to open up a guy who's down backing versus a guy who's just mashing all the time. And you're going to find that the guy who's mashing all the time is much easier to kill. So don't be that guy when you're on defense, right? Don't be that guy. Down back and force your opponent to actually have a coherent offensive game plan to open you up, right? If you're down backing all the time, they can't just do this and kill you, unlike if you were just mashing every time you got up. And then, I mean, for neutral, this is much more complicated. But again, the only thing that I really want to talk about here is understand your character's game plan. Understand what it is, what kind of character you are, right? And I talked about this, again, in the guides. But you want to understand, do I have good normals overall, right? Do I have, and when I say I have good normals, are they good for, like, sitting back and, like, poking a guy out? Or are they fast and they're good for getting in a guy's face and murdering him? Right? Or alternatively, are my normals completely terrible and I'm carried by my specials? And if I'm carried by my specials, do my specials seem to mostly work at longer range? Do my specials seem to mostly work at close range? Like a lot of them plus on block, right? A lot of them are plus on block, a lot of them don't have a lot of range, then probably I want to stick in a guy's face. A lot of them are projectiles or otherwise are good at full screen. Probably I want to stay a little bit back, right? Get an understanding of this and actually start playing towards it. I find a lot of people who are playing, you know, they're playing a Galleon like a rushdown character, or fucking they're playing Ladiva like a mid-range character or a zoner or something like that. They're playing Fairy like a rushdown. They're like, why am I losing? It's not what your character does, right? You simply your character has a math degree and you're forcing them to like write an essay. Right? If you've ever been with fucking STEM kids, I am a STEM kid. It is hilarious trying to get any of them to ever do anything humanities related, because suddenly it like introduces subjectivity into it, and they're like, well, no, I want a correct answer here, and they fucking melt down, and then they go off and they play their strategy game because they probably are at least a little bit on the spectrum. Hey, that's just me. I'm not even saying that from a point of like disparagement at all. You know, but they struggle with that kind of stuff a lot more. Their emotional center is a little bit more underdeveloped. So. That's what you're doing to your character. Your character is specialized in one thing, arguably, and then you are just completely ignoring that specialty and trying to play them like they're someone that they're not. Not every character, some characters in this game, you can play in almost every single way. You can play them like aggressive, defensive, long range, short range, close range, whatever you want, but the vast majority of them do not work that way. So understanding what your character wants to do is also very key, right? Because why, right? Again, why am I saying all of this? The Panini play Ladiva has a mid-range with that far H? Yes, but he's the GOAT, so that's fine. He's Jesus. That's different. He can get away with it. You know, once you're high enough level, you can start breaking the rules. But why, again, to kind of ground all of this, all of these tangents that I'm going on and all of this, why is this important? Like, why do we care about playing to our character's game plan properly? Why do we care about having strong defense? Why do we care about having strong offense? Not combos, offense. Like, why do we care about being good at opening people up? Like, fundamentally. Because, at the end of the day, the goal of a fighting game is to reduce the opponent's HP to 0. And while it's very understandable to think that, well, I mean, if the goal is to reduce the opponent's HP to 0, like, isn't it better for me to do more damage when I hit them? Yes, absolutely, right? Absolutely 155% true. Yo, Tarku, thank you for the raid. How you doing, man? You playing some Uusume? We're talking about, we're just doing a whole thing about, you know, after getting to Master 37 times, what I found is actually useful to do it universally and what isn't. But, what the fuck was I talking about? Oh, yeah. Yes, obviously, again, it's not like optimizing your combos, improving your combos. It's not like that's not going to do anything. It does have value to it. But again, it's more that that is going to come at the cost of things that are actually, I would argue, much more important, right? You can get a lot of, you can put 70%, or sorry, like 10% of the effort into combos as another guy and get like 70% of the outcome. There is heavy diminishing returns on getting better at optimizing your combos, where it is not nearly as much of the case in improving on your fundamentals. That is a forever journey, and even small differences at very high level can make like hammering differences in win rates between people. So it's a much more valuable place to put your time into, to instead of, you know, like if you think about, oh god, my god, I'm gonna pull out, it's math. No one wants to talk about the math. Actually, Grambling today, only 14 more to Masters for me. Ooh, cool. If you, okay. Listen, I told you I'm a STEM kid, okay? So you have to give me some grace. But just imagine, right, if we win when we get our opponent's HP to 0, right? The only way that we can do this, holy crap's that brick. Hello there. Hello. What's good? What's good, Ghoul? So we do this by hitting the opponent. We have to hit the opponent, right? To get that. And when we hit them, we'll do a certain amount of damage, right? So we have like the number of times that we hit them versus times the damage that we do. And if this number equals their HP, right, then they're dead, right? If this equals our opponent's HP, then they go straight to hell. Now, the thing is, right, you can get this damage number pretty goddamn high. Again, I mean, the way this game works, you can get this damage number pretty goddamn high with very little effort, right? Again, just doing auto combo, special auto combo, right? Or or recognizing that you have super sometimes, auto combo, special auto combo, super, right? This on Grand, this gets you 7k. This is already like 80% of how high you can push this number with Gran off of that hit. So like we can already get this number like most of the way there with very little effort, because I'm fucking lazy. I want to win with the least effort possible, okay? I want to win with the least effort possible.
Nice and easy.
So we can get this like 70% of the way there with very little effort, right? Just like the world, like again, this combo, like the Grand Blue combo of like auto combo into a special into auto combo, you can find this on any of the 40 characters in the video game with like once you know what you're looking for, like you're looking for that, you can find that with like 10 seconds of labbing in the corner on any character. Literally just fucking Eustace, right? Literally like find like do an auto combo and then do all of your specials and see if any of them can extend. Okay, that doesn't seem to work. What about this one? No, okay, that doesn't seem to work. Okay, what about this one? No, it doesn't. Maybe if I do like a light or something? No, that doesn't work. Okay. What about like this guy? I know we have follow-up set of this guy. Yeah, okay, cool. Boom, combo found, right? You literally just do that. You do auto combo into trying all of your EX specials. You wait, you find one you can combo off of, you go from there, right? Like this is, and once you can do this once on a character, you can do it for the whole cast, infinite, like with very little effort, right? Beelzebub, I mean, he has a couple, but you can do like, okay, right away it worked, awesome, right? I found something, cool, this is my Beelzebub combo now when I get you in the corner, right? And like maybe in the mid screen, it's literally just like this, right? I don't get the auto combo follow-up. Right, and then sometimes I'll notice if I have super, I'll like try to do super. Some characters I might be a little finicky with, like Bub's right there, it's gonna miss. Okay, cool, so I'm just not gonna do that, right? Maybe I can find another special, right? Where I can actually do this, and the super will actually connect. Yeah, okay, cool. So I'm gonna do that one instead, right? And if you can't find one where the super connects, fuck it, man. Go for it. And with like 15 seconds of effort, on the whole roster, you will get this number about as high as it like ever goes, right? This one though, there's a lot more. This is a lot more important, and there's a lot more avenues to increase this one, right? Someone mentioned in the YouTube chat, I won so many games literally just learning to anti-air. Yeah, Xander, right? Like again, if you really weren't focusing on anti-airing as a fundamental before, right? And people were just like, when they would run up and jump on you, you would just like block and hope for the best or do something like that, right? This might be a whole like area of like hits that you don't even get, right? This might be a whole area of hits that you don't even find, right? Let's not even do anything complicated. I 2H, right? I do this into that or something like that. If I wasn't even like focused on anti-airing as a fundamental, I like wouldn't even ever get these hits. This is a whole, like my damage, right? My damage in that aspect will be 0, right? My damage will be 0 here. It's not like if we optimize our corner combo, right? We go from like 4.5k damage, right? To like 5.8k damage on Gran is what we saw, right? That's not nothing, right? It's like a 33% increase or something like that. But if I decide to actually learn how to find hits on people in certain situations that I wasn't before, I go from like 0 to 3.8k, right? Or again, if I'm like at a point where I literally cannot open people up who are just down backing because I never learned how to properly strike throw, right? Then again, the amount of hits that I'm gonna find here go like it multiplies by 10 if I learn how to properly structure my offense. Right? If you get to the point that people are delay teching and you don't know what delay tech is and you don't know how to beat delay tech and you're still just doing like plus frame into strike or plus frame into throw, your odds of hitting a person who is delay teching successfully are almost 0%. So again, you go from your damage being 0 on average in those situations, right? Into your damage being like that basic corner combo that you learned because you didn't have time to optimize it because you spent too much time, learning your fundamentals, right? So this is a gigantic increase, right? And it happens in many more places. And then what you can do after this, you might notice, all right, well, I mean, wouldn't it be better, right? Wouldn't it be better to go from 0 to 4.5? Wouldn't it be better to go from 0 to 5.8, right? Wouldn't that be better? That's an even bigger increase, right? Like, what if I got my fundamental and I also got my corner combo down? Again, absolutely. But do you see how it's secondary? Do you see how it's the second, like, it's the secondary thing? Going from 0 to 4,500 is triple the jump that going from 4,500 to, like, 6k is, even, like, if we make it a little bit more generous, even, right? It's triple the jump. So, focus on the one that gets you triple the reward first, and then focus on optimizing your combo, because it's more intensive than you might like. You might be like, another common counter argument to this might be that optimizing your combo is not that hard, right? It is easier to get from this 4.5k, right? It's easier to get from this 4.5k to that 5.8k than it is to like understand the option select of delay tech, right? Absolutely, that is true. However, it's not as easy as you might think. Right, like for me, I've played the entire roster. I have 1,300 hours in this game. I understand the general combo theory of the game well enough that I can like pretty quickly piece together like, okay, like probably you want to launch with this because this one does more damage and the scaling in the game works this way, and this is more efficient for combo limit, and this is a multi-hit, so I probably want to use this earlier on in the combo, so before they get launched and all of that. I know how Raging Strike works in combos. I understand how like canceling versus not canceling a raw super or a U skill might work. I know when it might be more valuable to spend the raw U skill versus to save that meter for super, or when that might lead into more damage later on down the line. There's a lot of inherent knowledge that goes into optimizing a combo that you probably don't have if you are a lower, like intermediate, or even obvious, especially if you're like a beginner level player. So it's more effort than you think. It's pretty close to the same amount of effort. If anything, I could say there's a fair argument that like concepts, like you can't block throws, right? So make sure to mix in a lot of throws, right? And just explaining the basics of frame data of like what a plus frame is and why that means people can't mash on your offense. That is not that much more complicated or even arguably simpler than explaining like combo theory to people to understand, like, and again, usually your character's specific combo theory to someone, right? That's a big thing too, when we say fundamentals, the reason we call them that is because when you learn it on Gran, you learn it on Jita, you learn it on Bubs, you learn it on Belial. Once you learn it on one character, it applies forever. It applies to every character, it applies, you know, to the whole roster. Whereas if you want to learn, like, how exactly to optimize Gran's combos is going to be very different than how to optimize Beelzebub's combos. Right? And there may be slight variations in how, you know, Beelzebub is going to run his pressure versus Gran, but just doing the general universal fundamental stuff is still going to be much more universally applicable, right? Some characters, yeah, and also true, even adaptable to other games even a lot of the times, though, with a caveat of depending on, you know, like when I tell you to Brave counter on defense, it's going to be obviously not as useful outside of Grand Blue, but maybe, you know, you can take away that use the system mechanics, especially in a lot of modern fighting games. There's a lot of very strong system mechanics. So, yeah, like, I'm coming at this from a lot of different angles because different people think different ways, and something that might not convince someone might convince someone else. But I beg of you, just drop the combos, okay? The big reason, like the reason why am I focusing on this so much is because it feels like there is quite, especially from an outside perspective, right? A lot of people think that fighting games are about hitting cool combos because it is the thing that is, again, the most easy to visually tell, right? When a pro player, right, when someone like, or not even a pro, even just like if you, like, most people, their external exposure might be to like a tournament or something like that. They might like see Evo and be like, wow, that was cool, but like they're not super involved, right? When you see someone, right, like they're doing all of this offensive stuff, they're like doing like something to beat some sort of option select, they're like run up, like delay close H-ing, they get a hit, whatever. You don't really know what's going on there. It just kind of looks like, oh, like, is he gonna hit him or is he not gonna hit him? But when he gets the big, like, you know, when he gets the big heavy counter hits and then like he does the thing that his character does really well and he does like the shit ton of damage and you see like everyone can like visually see up there like the amount of red that is like creeping into Beelzebub's health bar, and they can see the big animation and they can see the cool damage and they can be like, holy shit, wait, that was awesome. This must be what it means to be good at fighting games, is to be able to do, you know, I can't do that at all, right? Like I would have no idea how to do that. How the fuck did that guy almost died a single time when he got hit? So it's associated, I think, with a lot of people in their minds, like this is the thing that they need to work on to get better. But I really don't think it's just not true. It's actually kind of backwards too. I found that it's also simply more fun for a lot of people to practice combos over practicing stuff like pressure. Yes, I think because it is poorly explained a lot of the time, right? Or at least it's less immediately obvious what you're practicing, right? I agree. Hitting combos is fun. I don't disagree at all. But I think a big problem of it is that there's a lot more jargon involved usually when you see the community talk about something like fuzzy mashing delay tech OS, right? Than there is with just like, oh, hit guy, do big damage, right? You might see like combo notation, sure, like that's certainly something, right? But even then, like it's still, there's a lot more jargon involved when people talk about ideas behind pressure or offense or defense or neutral. Even like those words in and of themselves are kind of jargon, right? You see far more immediate feedback on if combos are working. Right. Setups in weird situations are more fun for me. Yeah, it varies by person. But I think combos are the simplest thing to understand, right? Combos are the simplest thing to understand. But again, unfortunately, it's just not the correct place to be putting your time and effort into if you want to improve. Again, if you're just like, you know what, I just have fun sitting in training mode, seeing how big I can get the red amount of the red bar in Bubs' health bar right there, and then every now and then I just go into a match and my goal is to just hit it on a real guy, absolutely fair. Absolutely fair. But if you want to take a little bit more of an analytical approach to it, and if you want to improve and you care about like getting better at this thing and you're viewing it as like a skill that you want to get better at, then I think it's very important to look to these other more fundamental concepts and try to learn those instead. I think neutral and fundamentals are something you learn to enjoy more as you play against more skilled opponents. Yes, but again, I also feel like it should be fun. It can be framed in ways that are a lot less nerd, right? It can be framed in ways that are a lot less nerd emoji that I feel like are going to make it fun, right? It's very easy to like caveman say like, I like hitting the opponent and doing big damage. You can also, you know, number go big, opponent dead, me happy. Yeah, but also, you know, opponent dominated, never gets to play the game, me happy, right? Like if you have like good offense or good neutral or good defense, it's like you get to enforce on them like the other thing that would happen to you if you have bad offense, bad defense, bad neutral, where it just feels like they never get to play the game, right? Make them not play the game. Figure out the best, figure out the best way to just absolutely fucking destroy them, right? They don't like that. You spend the entire time hitting them, killing them, you know, making them block, right? And they just have to sit there and take it, right? That stuff is people like oppressing their opponent is one thing that I found for sure. There's like an evil circuitry in the human brain. In competitive games in general, we like winning. And when it's a competitive game, winning inherently involves the other guy losing, right? So there's a bit of satisfaction that you get out of just beating the shit out of the other guy. And while combos are one way of that, again, it can very much be framed. But like being good at keeping the guy blocking forever or killing him or making him feel like he has no options is also a really big part of that whole discussion. So I think it's a matter of framing a lot of the time. I really disagree with the idea that, and no one is necessarily putting this up. I loved the oppressing the other side joke. Yeah, I didn't. But I really disagree, and no one's pushing that this hard in the chat or anything like that. But I think I fundamentally disagree with the idea that, like, these fundamentals are more difficult or less fun or something like that. I think they are often framed in such a way that they are more difficult or less fun, right? For example, you know, we were talking about, like, the idea of a frame trap. We might talk about, you know, you have to understand the concept of, like, what a plus frame means, and you have to, fighting games run 60 frames per second. So then, you know, if you know that's your +4, that means that you recover, but right before your opponent recovers. We can get into that, sure, right? But we can also be like, hey, is it fucking annoying when everyone's just mashing buttons on you all the time? Here's how to kill them for that, right? I think it's a framing issue a lot of the time. I think a lot of us are way too deep in the fucking sauce, right? A lot of us are way too deep in the sauce to, like, understand what things that are interesting to us, talking about, you know, frame data or, you know, setups or, you know, like fake safe jumps or frame traps or whatever that might be. That's, like, cool to us because we're fucking nerds, but it just comes off as, like, a wall of text to people who are new or people who are not as, like, not quite as, like, invested yet, right? And if anything, you can even be like, you know, that fucking combo that you love hitting, here's how you get to do that more often. Fuck, I mean, if at the end of the day the guy's just like, nope, all I care about is the combo, right? All right, well, does it feel better to land the combo on a real person or in training modes? Probably on a real person, right? There's that sense of euphoria of, like, practicing a combo in training mode and then hitting it in a real match. Why do we care about that? Because it feels better to do it under real stakes, under real pressure, in a competitive environment. So it's like, okay, you like hitting your combo on, like, people. Here's how you can do that more often, right? There's myriad ways to frame this in such a way that it can be interesting and fun and something to look forward to and something to get excited about getting better at. But I think we're not very good at that as, like, a higher level or intermediate community. When we're introducing people to fighting games in general, I feel like we don't do a very good job of showing, like, framing them in those ways. And sometimes we'll even, like, we'll kind of gatekeep it or be like, oh, it's like a bit of more of an advanced concept, you know? Or, like, you can worry about that later or something like that. Where, again, a lot of this is, people aren't stupid, they're just unfamiliar with fighting games, right? Like, people can anyone who's played a video game can understand the idea of, like, reduce the guy's HP to 0, and then here's ways where you can do that more consistently, right? People aren't, well, I think there's often a mischaracterization of fighting game beginners as, like, just like, they just don't know anything. They don't know anything about fighting games, right? But, again, they understand the idea of competitive games, win conditions very often. You just have to put it in more generalized terminology. You have to use slightly more words, stop using your jargon, explain why these things are cool and work from first principles, and they usually are off to the fucking races, right? Combos are like wanting the cash before you do the work. No work, only pay. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's wrong. Right? Again, this is what... I'm glad you said that, Zen, because you're making a joke, but even your joke is, like, the fundamental problem that I'm talking about here, right? Why are combos the pay and the fundamentals are the work, right? Why does it have to, why do we have to frame it in such a way that, like, oh, you have to do this, like, unfun thing to get your dessert, right? Like, and I did that earlier too. I did that earlier kind of like inadvertently because I'm so used to this idea. But, like, why do we have to do that, man? Why can't learning to kill the other guy more effectively be fun, right? Why can't that be the pay? What people are going to, when you're new, the one thing that is true is that people who are new to fighting games don't really have a conception of, they don't have a preconception of a lot of, like, deeper mechanics. They don't have a preconception of fighting games in general, right? But, like, they don't know what they even like or dislike, or even if they even like the genre at all. And a lot of times, what people are going to form those preconceptions around is what they see people who are more experienced talking about and the things that they generally see discussed, right? So maybe they might think, again, like, when they are watching high-level footage, they might only be able to parse the combos, right? But, again, they might still be like, well, I don't really know what the fuck is going on. And then, but if once they actually get into learning and they see everyone talking about like, oh, you know, you're gonna have to do a little bit of work. You're gonna have to do a little bit of work. You have to slog through learning X or Y or Z, and then you get to have fun. Then that's going to form their opinion. They don't have an opinion on what the game actually is, or they don't have a value judgment on anything yet. They're new. We are giving them the incorrect value judgment by, I don't even know. I mean, sometimes projecting our own stigma. Some people just like combos more than fundamentals. And sometimes it comes from a point of like, it's almost like self-deprecating humor, right? Like a lot of us are aware that combos are kind of the big flashy thing that a lot of people know about fighting games. And even though we find a lot of the other stuff cooler, we might be like, well, other people might not see that. So before they reject it, I'm going to call it the work. I'm going to call it the grind. I'm going to call it all these negative things because I might like it, but I feel like it's kind of an inside baseball thing. And like, oh, I don't want them to like, you know, out of self-deprecating humor is 100% it. Yeah, like out of like defense of this hobby that I like, I'm going to make it seem less fun than it is. I don't think this. I don't think that labbing out, you know, offensive fundamentals or, you know, getting like figuring out option selects, things like this. I don't think that it's actually lame, but I think that other people are going to think it's lame, so I beat them to it. So, you know, we gotta stop. We gotta stop. Because this shit's fun, man. This shit is fun. Fighting games, the people who have gotten into fighting games and gotten really into fighting games did that for a reason. Because there is something special about this genre. People have tried, like, it's maybe the 1v1 nature, it's maybe the incredibly, like, the high amount of control that you have over your character that lets you really, like, personalize, like, it really feels like you're doing a lot, right? Like, there's a lot of expression in fighting games, maybe it's the community aspect, maybe it's, you know, the sheer amount of different playstyles that it allows, who knows, right? But there's something inherently at the core of these things that is really, really fucking fun. And so don't, like, pre-self-deprecate when you're trying to get, like, you like this, believe that it's a cool, awesome, fun thing, and have that mindset in mind when you're introducing people to it. It's not work, it's not homework, it's not studying, it's a fun, cool thing that you get to now experience with me. That's why self-deprecation, trusts why self-deprecation is a sign of intelligence. Why? But listen, that's a whole other thing, where, like, actually, yeah, like, in many ways, like, higher IQ or just general intelligence or stuff like that has actually been seen to be like maladaptive in a lot of like modern society in some ways, because usually you get like a lot of kids who are really smart, they like learn to use their smarts, and then they don't really learn to figure out like how to deal with their emotions, and then they end up actually becoming more, you know, well, yeah, don't worry about it. I'm not a psychiatrist. It's just things that I've heard that I found interesting that have at least aligned to my like anecdotal experience, right? I see your point. At one point, I lab punishes for everyone. Dustloop says something is punishable on blog, but I was my character punishing. Whether that was worth it? Yeah. If you find it fun, it's probably fun. If a lot of people find it fun, it's probably fun. So, like, don't pre-self-deprecate, because it has, not only is it bad for you, because it makes you kind of feel like you're sort of like downplaying your own hobby and making it seem like, you know, it's kind of like lame or something to be into it, but also it genuinely has, you don't realize how much effect you as like an intermediate or even high-level player, especially high level, or even like, you know, a content creator voice, if any of you are like streamers or anything like that, you don't realize how much of an effect you can have on a guy who's a blank slate. People who are just coming into fighting games have no preconceptions of everything, and again, they're going to get them from you. They're going to get their opinions from you. If you're like, even if you're not a content creator, if you're like teaching a friend, you're getting a friend into fighting games or something like that, they're going to learn them from you, and then and it's not even what you believe, so you've sold them a lie, right? You sold them a lie. So don't do that shit, man. But this kind of went off the rails. But again, the primary goal of this is I just wanted to say that, you know, this is getting to master, getting better at fighting games is so much more about trying to learn these core fundamentals than it is about, you know, optimizing your combo 20%. I think that's a very common misconception that we perpetuate in the fighting game community, but also that a lot of players might come in with because they're the most visually visually flashy thing about the genre, but it leads to a lot of people getting stuck, and it leads to a lot of problems, and I just wanted to make a video talking about that, I think. Hi, Breaky, tell me what I should do when the opponent eats a trap with CAG. I don't really know a combo when that happens. I only do auto combo. Thanks for your time, King. Honestly, bro, you fucking, it's fine. If you want to do auto combo into nothing, or auto combo into her little Alexandria, like the back H special, sure, man, just do that, right? It's what I've been talking about. If you want a more advanced combo, I labbed out a bunch. I think, I haven't uploaded the CAG Road to Master yet. I don't think. Maybe I did. Oh no, I did. Yeah, you can take a look at that playlist, and I have a bunch of stuff that I talk about there. in terms of combos that I figured out with her and stuff. Not like optimal CAG stuff by any means, but at least, you know, good enough to get me to master. Do you have anything to say to type of people that learn through just the trial of fire by grinding games, those who play through gut feelings without much training mode experience? I mean, I would say, again, if I would rather that guy than the guy who spends 6 hours in the lab before they ever hop online, right? I think that in general, we prescribe training mode a little bit too much, and we put a little bit too much emphasis on training modes. For a large majority of the game's population, if we talk about, you know, 70% of the game is not even at S+, right? 80% of the game is S+ or lower, something like that, right? Those people can benefit from training mode, certainly, but they probably benefit a lot more from just playing the video game and figuring things out through trial and error than they do about training modes. And this gets even more true when we talk about C ranks, B ranks, A ranks, something like this, right? But I mean, again, this is where, like, at a certain point, obviously, training mode is going to have a lot of advantages. Again, I would say, like, you really want to start past, like, just learning the controls and understanding, like, the basic mechanics of the game, like what an auto combo is, what a special move is, things like that. I would certainly say that training mode is probably around, like, the intermediate ranks, like S+, you probably want to start using it a little bit more. But that guy, to me, is closer to correct than the guy who's, again, whatever you have fun with, that's correct. But if we're talking about from a pure efficiency of improvement standpoint, the guy who spends 6 hours playing the game versus the guy who spends 6 hours labbing the game, I'll take the guy who spends, I'll teach the guy who spends 6 hours playing, I'll teach him to lab for like 10 minutes of those 6 hours, and he'll do a lot better, right?
Shoutouts and thanks for all
Xander.
of this content. No joke, it has helped me and some friends get into Granblue and improve at fighting games in general. Do you have a top 5 most fun characters after getting them all to masters?
First off, thank you very much for the 25. Goddamn, very generous of you. Second, you took the words right out of my mouth, brother. That's what we're gonna do right after this. I just want to kind of wrap up this conversation, and that's. I was gonna rank every character by how much I enjoyed getting to the master. So, you got it, brother. You literally took the words right out of my cock. What's stream about today? Just kind of general road to master retrospective stuff. You know, got every character to master. Well, right now we're talking about just what is useful. Like, what things I actually found are useful to get to master, and what things are maybe not as useful. Mostly combos. Let's go. Yep, cock. Yep. Think of that old fighting game vid of mind versus heart versus gut players. You know about that video? Yes, I do. That's not what you're talking about, I don't think. Heart players, or it was mind, heart, and body, right? Body players was execution, mind players was labbing and knowing every little interaction and every little bit of frame data, and heart players were those who just, you know, grapplers, almost, think of it, right? People who thrive on, like, you know, capitalizing on their opponent's emotions, zoners in some ways too. Like, usually at least you can find these kinds of players in these archetypes more, right? Capitalizing on the opponent's emotions, really playing on, like, finding that moment, right? Just knowing, like, I just knew that right here he wasn't gonna guess command grab. He was gonna be scared, he was gonna down back. Neither of these three playstyles are not people who lab, right? Especially if you're talking at a high level, right? It's almost, I would think of it more as like a balance, right? You guys are gonna make me fucking do this again, huh? Like what I take away from that video is that if you imagine that you have a pie chart, right? And you split it up into thirds of just like raw knowledge, like frame data knowledge, interaction knowledge, tool knowledge, things like this. You have like just reads, again, gut feelings, all of that, and you have execution, right? You have execution and the ability to just like do things that are very difficult under pressure, right? What it basically looks like is like, you know, almost no one is 0% in anything, right? But you might have like, you know, a heart player might kind of they might look like, I don't know, they might look like this, right? They might look like 25% like labbing, matchup knowledge, whatever, 25% of like execution and like figuring out good combos and figuring out good conversions and all of that, and like 50%, right, just like going with the flow, reading the opponent, manipulating the opponent's emotions, you know, keeping like controlling their own emotions, etc., 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 right? And then different people are just gonna have different mixes of this, right? Some people, it might be even more extreme. Some people might be close to 33. But that has nothing to do with labbing, at least not at all. right? Certainly, like those mind players that they're all about knowing every single little thing. Like I know that in this situation, if you space out this move, it can be -4 on block, and that means it's unpunishable by the entire cast, except for my character who has this move that if I do it in exactly this situation and no other one, then I can get a punish that no one else in the roster can. Like, that might not happen for everyone, right? But everyone should be using trading mode once you get to a higher level, at least a little bit, for sure, right? But yeah, anyway. I'm gonna move on now. This isn't fighting games, this is math, JPG. Yes. It's easy. I like visual aids to things, okay? I like visual aids to things while I yap. Hard play is so fun when you're right. It's true. And it's also sometimes not very fun when you're wrong. You are, again, you know, you're playing with your heart. You're putting your heart in your sleeve, right? Sometimes you bet it all on something and you're wrong. And, you know, at some point you can be like, but also something deep down inside you dies. I'll tell you that for free. Hard play is what I did on my vein climb. Yeah. Counter hit close H on Siegfried is better than sex. That's fair. But yeah, I just want to talk about that real quick. Again, please, another fucking yap session talking about please focus on your fundamentals over like giga optimizing your combos, right? Get a basic combo, go, and then learn other things. And they can be fun too, I promise. I fucking wish I was an Ultra Mind player, but labbing characters other than my own is one of the most boring things to do for me. I mean, good news is like neither of these is like none of these are necessarily better than the others, right? If anything, I mean, I would argue that probably like what you end up seeing in a lot of very good players is something close to like, you know, something close to like this. Like certainly no one is like an even split, right? But certainly you end up seeing like a lot of like, you know, really strong players. They have like strong matchup knowledge and strong like, you know, knowledge about the roster of the game, right? And they also have like their, you know, their character's best combos down and they can do them consistently and they can convert weird hits and things like that. And they also are really good at the mind game, right? So like, you don't have to be like it's not like it's ideal to be like a 90% mind player or anything like that. All right, cool. Let's move on. Let's move on, fellas. I want to make another tier list, but it's not what you think, okay? I'm definitely at a stage where I feel like I need more matchup knowledge. Yeah, fair. And again, I would say if you feel that way, do it in chunks, especially if it's not fun for you, right? When you funnest, yes. When you run into a move that you don't know how to deal with, lab out that particular interaction, right? For 45 seconds in training mode, and then go back to playing the video game. Especially if you don't like labbing characters other than your own, do it in tiny little chunks, right? Do it in tiny little chunks. Like you get knowledge checked by like Eustace doing Rekka into the U follow-up where he like jumps back and he's plus and like you don't really know what to do to beat that. Lab out that exact interaction in that exact place on the screen, see what you can do, move on. And slowly over time, you're going to accumulate that matchup knowledge in a way that is still, you know, not getting in the way of your fun too much, right? Honestly, that's kind of what I recommend everyone to do, because again, I still think that in general, unless you really like it, you should never spend like 40 minutes in training mode, unless, I mean, once you're high enough level, yeah, sure, fair. But like, I think it's counterproductive for a lot of people, and a lot of people are not doing it for the reason that they just think it's the funnest thing ever. They're doing it because they think they have to. They're doing it because they think you have to know X or Y or Z before you're allowed, before you're qualified, before you're not an imposter in whatever rank that you're in. And it's just not true. It's just not true. Simply untrue, simply unbased. Small chunks, and I do keep notes too. I mean, that's like, you're already ahead of the curve, brother. You'll be fine. Further get knowledge checked, I learn the frame data on the move, then math out my options because my dumbass forgets trading mode exists. So true. I mean, hey, it's working well enough for you, Kira. You're pretty good. Pretty damn good at the video game. All right. Monarch pulling out his death note? Yeah. We got every character to master. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. I think I want to do we're going to do a couple of different tier lists, I think. One is honestly, is this like how fun it was getting every character to master? Maybe. Because, okay, the thing is, fun is, there's a lot of different kinds of fun. You know what I mean? There's a lot of different kinds of fun. Like, immediately, I feel like I want to have like a fun, engaging, right? Because that, well, I guess maybe engaging is the wrong word. But I also want to have like a fun, like, evil, right? Because there is like a fun evil, right? Like, and I'll tell you what. There's one character that goes in here for sure. Maybe not engaging, like maybe just like, honestly, I'm gonna say fun, right? You get what I mean. And then this is kind of what we'll do like a all right. We'll do going through the motions, right? Because sometimes it is, you know, at a certain, it is just kind of, you just kind of do the thing. And then I'm going to have one, I think there are a couple of characters actually in here that are going to be straight, like, frustrating / annoying, right? There are, I can think of two off the top of my head, but I actually don't know. Fun synapse firing? Yeah, I like that. Fun neuron activation. I fuck with that. What's fun for you to do in a fighting game? A lot of things, I think. Certainly, like, with me enjoying grapplers the most, one of the things that I enjoy the most is just one chance, right? Just, like, straight up, like, you fucked up once, and now you're going straight to hell, right? Oh boy, oh, you shouldn't have did that. Oh boy, you shouldn't have let me did that. You shouldn't have did that. Now I'm gonna send you to hell, right? That's why, like, a character like Ladiva to me is very fun, right? You could be losing the whole round, and then they make one mistake, or you get one good, you do one thing really well, or you get lucky one time, and you can feel the fear in them of like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, I should have closed this out, right? So stuff like that is fun to me. But also, I mean, in general, it's fun to do strong things, for sure. I feel like, yeah, it's fun to do strong things, right? A weak character can have strong things about them, by the way. But it's fun to do strong things in a lot of ways. I mean, we'll see. I guess we'll explore it a little bit more in depth, right? As we go. That's why I miss BL5 Lucy so much. The one chance part of his character. Let me build up, now think fast, chuckle nuts. Yeah. I guess the only problem with pre-patch Lucy is it wasn't really, you didn't have to let him build up. He built up whether you wanted him to or not, right? Maybe they went a little too far the other way, but anyway. Gran, dude, I almost want to put Gran in fun evil. This character, I mean, part of, like, this character does feel like a little bit of a cheat code in, like, S++. This was our fastest master run until Belial. He has too many things that are plus. He has too many ways to convert off of every hit that he gets. He does too much damage on average. It really feels like, yeah, at least for me, this is gonna be from the perspective of a guy who was smurfing on most of these runs, right? So, like, for me, if you have strong fundamentals, like much better fundamentals than the people that you're fighting in S+ and S++, and you play Gran, it just feels so oppressive in a way that I have to admit that I enjoyed quite a lot, right? This character is a little war criminal, and I love him for it. I think it's a combination of the sheer amount of damage that he gets off every mistake the opponent makes, and then also, like, kind of the amount of mistakes he forces the opponent to make, but it's being plus all the goddamn time, right? EX Gran doesn't count because EX Gran, we didn't get him to master. None of the EX characters are going to be in here. Gina was alright. Gina, she was fun. I think the problem with Gina, honestly, for me, I did her right after Gran. And she's just not quite as interesting to play, I don't think. Uber, thank you very much for the raids. I am also not super into defensive gaming, right? Personally, I don't have a lot of fun playing a defensive style character. I'm much more of a rushdown guy. I enjoy defensive style characters, and I enjoy zoners significantly less than I enjoy rushdowns or grapplers or what have you. So Jita being like a more defensive angle on Gran, and then also, she's not that much worse than Gran, but being a much more balanced version of Gran instead of just like Gran having the one really insane thing he can do, which is just, again, his sheer ability to convert into insane damage off of anything. Is a little bit more fun. Jagged characters for me, not that Gran is that jagged, right? But he's more jagged than Jita is, at least. Jagged characters are also fun to me. Like, again, I mean, Ladiva obviously is going to be high up here, right? In a similar way, I mean, okay. See, Catalina for me, again, is one of these more defensive characters. So I want to be like, like it wasn't that much. But Catalina does, again, feel like she goes a little bit into fun evil here. I didn't think at all. The cat to master, I think it had like an 85% win rate or something, which is a little lower than some of those later ones. But I actually did not think at all. I just hit 2M, it counter hits, I got 5,000 damage and full screen corner carry for no meter. And I was like, this is just stupid. I think, I said, it's stupid that she can do that like 100 times over the course of like 50 games in the Catalina Road to Master. It was just kind of like, yeah, it was just kind of funny to just stick out a button and they couldn't do anything about it. You just stick out 2M, they just insta-lose, and then you take them to the corner, and then, you know, bad things happen to them from there. You light wall them, they can't punish it, they brave counter into it and die, right? There's a lot of just like, it's just fun to do strong things, I think, right? What kind of tier list is this? How fun it was to get every character to master, in my opinion. Charlotta is actually, I think, fun neuron activation, in my opinion. Because, again, this character is, in my opinion, not very good, but I don't care about that. Charlotta is fun because you can do a lot of things that feel like you're getting away with something. You know what I mean? Hitting someone with Demon Flip Command Grab just feels like it shouldn't happen. But when it does, it's real nice, right? It's real nice. She's also just cute. I like her voice lines, right? She, forever pure, forever racist. There's a satisfying feeling to hitting a motherfucker with Charlotta. I'm not quite sure how to distill it. She doesn't even hit that hard, really, so it's not even the damage. It might really be, her combos might just be visually interesting to do. A lot of, like, the launching, a lot of the demon flip, like, safe jump stuff. A lot of, like DP, like, her DP looks kind of funny to do in combos, too, like that little ladder, right? She has, like, the light DP, light DP, light DP, demon flip, something like that. I was hearing Forever Pure, Forever Racist until, like, 5 months ago. I don't even know what she says. I genuinely don't even know what the real voice line is. Did you ever land one of her optimals? I don't believe so. But her combos are just fun to do, right? Her combos are just fun to do. I believe, her, like, mid-screen optimal, which is, it's actually the highest damage she can do if she starts in a certain situation. It's righteous? Forever pure, forever righteous. There's like a funny quality to this lady for some reason. I can't really quite describe it. Lancelot, see, I was in a very good mood the day that we did the Lancelot Road to Master. I remember I like looking back at it. I was very animated, but when I think back on it now, I feel like it was fine. I'm not sure what it was exactly. It was fun to see how much stronger. Oh, I know why. Actually, no, I know why. A lot of it was fun, but I hate his 5L with a passion. It was so annoying. It's just literally, it's only down, like, it would be here. It's only down here because of his 5L. It's just, I don't like it. Right? The amount of times I, like, ran up and tried to safe jab something in a situation that any other character in the video game could safe jab, and I got hit by a DP or a reversal, and I was like, oh, right, fuck. Or the amount of times that I got, like, 2L, 5L, and it whiffed, or you try to go, like, 5L, and it doesn't hit, or something like that. That button, by itself, genuinely makes me not want to play that character. I think he's pretty good now, but that 5L is, you seem terrified quite often. Yeah. But yeah, like, that 5L just made it very not enjoyable for me. I think, like, yeah, like, relying on, like, one of your like primary tools being a little finicky is something that I don't fuck with too much, for sure. Percy, weirdly enough, right? Percy was a little annoying. I say that 5L is what I like of that character. I don't know, I'm weird. That's fair, right? Different strokes, different folks. Percy's a little annoying. I see what people mean. Percival is very strong, but I see what people mean. Before the Road to Master, everyone was like, I'd always heard people talk about how Percy felt clunky to play, and I never really knew what, like, I could kind of guess. I never really knew what they meant by that. I think I don't like resource management characters. You know what I mean? I think I don't like stock management. It was kind of annoying. And also, I mean, it's not just that. Percy is not just super reliant on stocks. He's also very reliant on that command dash. And while that was an interesting thing to work through, I don't think it's that fun for me. It's the kind of thing that, like, I'll be like, oh, like, it's a cool game design thing that he has this little mini game that you have to play on him, but I don't think I fuck with it that much, right? I don't think I like managing my stocks, managing, you know, like one particular cooldown, and feel like when that cooldown's not there, I'm, like, much more neutered. Percy's strong if you're good. I can't play with this guy at all. I mean, even when I was playing him, he felt strong. He wasn't even, like, annoying because he felt bad. But yeah, it just is not, yeah, it's clunky. Clunky really is the way to, and there's another character now that I think about it that's going here too, who has a very similar feeling to him. Ladiva is my main, obviously. I mean, honestly, I almost want to, like, right? Like, I don't even, like, yeah, right? Ladiva is just the most fun character to me by a while. With, like, maybe, like, one challenger now in the video game. But, like, Ladiva is Ladiva, right? This is, like, there's a reason I picked Ladiva first. I loved playing Ladiva to the point that I, you know, spent more time on Ladiva than the entire rest of the roster combined, times like 3, even after getting everyone to master. How do I want to make these? Like that, and then orange, and then red. There you go. But yeah, it's Ladiva, right? Ladiva is my main. This is fair, best girl. I take it back. I forgot I was a Charlotta main, second best girl. Yep. Be careful. But yeah, this, like, it's just, you know, I am a grappler main in all the fighting games that I play. Ladiva is the most fun grappler I've ever played in any fighting game, I think. When she was worse, when she's a little better now, when she was somewhere in the middle, this character is just, there's nothing quite as satisfying as landing, like, multiple command grabs in a row, or even just command grabbing a guy, they wake up and mash, you get the counter hit, and they take, like, 13,000 damage. It's something else. I can't describe it. Matera is... I didn't really... Again, this is not... It's not my... Weird. I always... In my head, I used to say that grapplers and zoners felt like two sides of the same coin. And it's true, but it is a different side of the coin, right? I think the kind of thing that draws a person to playing grapplers is not that different from the thing that draws someone to playing zoners, but I think it's a very important difference, right? What we are is it's the horseshoe effect. Right, we're on opposite, like we're on opposite ends of the horseshoe, right? Like the middle is here, and then you have like grapplers and I guess horseshoes like they're supposed to go in a little bit, right? It's supposed to be like this or something, right? I'm bad at drawing. Like, you know, like this is one part of the this is grapplers, this is zoners. Yes, it's close, but like realistically, it is like actually the entire other part of the horseshoe, right? Not allowing the opponent to have fun, but in different ways. Yeah, and while that's true, as a grappler, I don't think I enjoy the zoner mindset. Because it is, while it is, if you zoom out, it's kind of the same thing. You don't let the opponent play, and you just, you know, you oppress them, you make them feel a very negative emotion that leads to you killing them. It is, in many ways, the exact antithesis, right? Like I was talking about how I like, with Ladiva, I can be losing the entire round, and then, like, you know, one thing goes my way, and oh boy, you might fucking die. You could argue that Matera is honestly strong enough that she kind of bucks her archetype, and this almost doesn't apply to her, but it did still feel this way, where Matera is winning at round starts, and she can totally just continue winning and never stop winning. But she can, at the same time, you know, one thing can go wrong, and then you end up in the corner, and like you get like a brave counter baited or blocked or whatever, or your DP blocked or something, and she just kind of dies, right? I feel like not letting the opponent play is the end goal of every archetype, absolutely. But I think zoners and grapplers are probably the most extreme examples of this, where they have one situation where they really just never let you play, and, you know, it's much more, and they usually suffer for it otherwise, whereas, you know, a character like Catalina is designed to beat you at every phase of the game, but like 65-35, you know what I mean? A character like Matera, maybe Matera's a bad, she's so strong, maybe it's just a little bit of a bad example, but like, you know, a character like a zoner like Matera is meant to beat you like 95-5 in their zoning game plan, and like, it's 50-50 or worse for her everywhere else, right? So they're a similar thing with Ladiva, right? Ladiva's designed to lose to you like 80-20 at long range and like, you know, 75-25 at mid range, but she's supposed to win like 8-90-10 if she gets in on you, right? But yeah, so for me, I didn't really fuck with it as much because it's kind of the exact opposite of what I like doing with Ladiva. But Matera is just strong enough, and doing U Butterfly was funny enough that I think I'm gonna put her here. There's another character who's gonna go probably down there with Percy, but Lowain is fun evil incarnate, right? Lowain, I almost want to make a tier like just for him. This character felt like I felt like fucking Oppenheimer. You know what I mean? I felt like I was doing the nuclear research. I discovered I discovered nuclear fission, and I found out they made it into a bomb, and I'm just fucking sitting there like this, playing Lowain the entire time. I could not fucking believe my eyes. Again, I will stand by the fact that below Master Rank, this is the best character in the game in his own tier. Right? Below Master Rank, this is the top 1 character, and it's not even close. It's like Lowain and then everyone else. It's ridiculous how strong this guy feels when you're fighting people who are not at Master Rank. Like, it actually felt like discovering fire. I was actively, like, I almost felt bad, but again, like, that Schadenfreude, like, sadistic part of me was like, this is crazy. I have 30,000 health this round. What the fuck is happening? Insane. I almost want to make, like, a super cut of this road to master, I think. Fairy is Matera, but not as good, so she felt annoying. Fairy, like, Matera has a lot of really, like, dumb shit you can do that feels like it's like, why can I do this? I played Fairy before she got nerfed. Even then, she's just, to me, she was just a zoner, and I don't like playing zoners. So Fairy is more annoying to me than anything. Matera is saved from this tier by the fact that you can just sometimes hit you Butterfly and insta-win, and it felt really stupid and fun to do. I don't know if I use the words the same thing, draws people to grapplers and zoners. The reason I play zoners is the reason I avoid grapplers. Yeah, sorry, it's not, again, that's why I corrected myself and used the horseshoe theory. You know what I mean? Like, there are fundamental similarities in the enjoyment of playing a zoner and a grappler, but I think there are very big differences that make it usually not a compatible archetype, right? Like, if you're a grappler, it's probably unlikely you enjoy playing zoners and vice versa. But yeah, Fairy, little annoying. Zeta was fun, I think. Zeta was fun because... Zeta, honestly, she was fun because she was one of the only characters in the game where it felt like execution was, like, really meaningful. Even to do, like, you know, relatively more basic shit. That's fun. You know, I'm not a big, like, a huge execution guy. And I mean, Grand Blue is not really heavy on, like, mechanical execution very often. But it really made Zeta stand out, I think. And then also, I mean, Rhapsody is really fun to use. Comboing off your DP is really funny. And her U skills are also very fun to use. The character is just fun, honestly. I don't know if she will be like, she's not like for me in the way that like I want to main her after, but this was like, this one does stick in my head. It's like I did enjoy playing it quite a lot, even though it wasn't as, maybe because it wasn't as straightforward as some of the other Road to Masters. Vasaraga is also, I mean, he's a big body, he's a half grappler, he has the exact same one chance potential as Ladiva. This is probably my third or fourth favorite character in the game. He's fun as fuck. I played him before he even got his like nuts buffs, but yeah. I can hear Arvest being shouted, help, yeah. Fairy's one of the coolest design characters that I've seen in fighting games. I mean, I like her, but not to play. You know what I mean? I don't mind, I didn't mind Fairy's existence again, even pre-patch. But, I have Season 1 trauma, yeah. But yeah, Voss, just big body, kills you, does even more damage than Ladiva, has arguably even higher one chance potential than Ladiva. Right, armor just feels cool. I like big burly characters in every game. I play tanks in RPGs. I play control decks in card games. I would play, if I played Magic the Gathering, I would play green. I play grapplers and big bodies in fighting games. You know, I play the frontline role, the big role, the bruiser role, the tank role in everything, right? So Vasaraga is the almost like the purest real like embodiment of this, really. And he's also just kind of cool and unique. Now, I will say, Vasaraga was the second or third character I got to master. At first, he was actually quite annoying because of how different he felt, right? Vasaraga is very unique. There were moments, I remember actively, there were moments playing Voss where I was like, and especially back when I played him, like in, you know, the fucking, like right before the Rasuja patch, I think, there was a lot more stuff on Vasaraga that was much more finicky. It was kind of right? So there were times where I was annoyed with Vasaraga, especially at the beginning. But as I kind of got more used to him, I think I did have a ton of fun with this guy. And I mean, these were long Road to Masters back then. Not only because the ranked rework hadn't happened yet, which made smurfing, you know, a lot harder. Easier, and that you got through ranked a lot faster, but it made it harder to, you know, continuously smurf. But also, in that, I wasn't really smurfing quite as much yet, right? Vasaraga, I think it took me like 700 games or something like that to get Vasaraga to master. It was a long time, man. It was like a little shorter than the amount of time it took me to get Ladiva to master. Maybe not 700, I think it was like 400, but still. So like this was a whole arc. By the end of it, and even in the mid game, like for most of it, I had a lot of fun playing Voss. Narmaya was kind of boring to me because I just played her as a flip bot. I'm sure there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot more nuance to be found there. I even had like a video about this, and there were some Narm players who were angry at me back then. But I played Narm kind of very quickly after she got the flip buffs, and I just kind of played her doing M flip over and over because it just beat people and they couldn't deal with it. So it was a little boring. It was a little boring. I'm not saying Narmaya is a boring character herself, but like my experience, my experience of playing Narmaya was that I just did M flip over and over and it killed everyone. And it felt to me like a lot of her power budget was kind of oversaturated in like TKH flip and the flips in general. And I didn't really, you know, I really fuck with it that hard, right? Soris is also fun. This is probably I think, okay. Soris might be 4, Vasaraga might be 3, Ladiva is 1, probably. But yeah, Soris is just fun as hell, again, right? High health, rush down, bruiser, big damage, right? He literally, I really fuck with Soares' like as a character, like this, you know, old buff man who literally flexes your attacks off of him, and he flexes so hard in his install that his clothes explode, and then he one-punch mans your ass. Soares is, yeah, he's just fun, man. Like, this character is just exactly my kind of character. Not really two bones about it. Zoe would be annoying. Zoe would be annoying because, again, I remember we used to have this bit of counting the flips. Yep, 60 flips per set on Dragalia especially. I remember Brick uploading the clip of just pressing flip. Yep. Why aren't you using both stances optimally? Yeah. Zoe would be annoying if it wasn't for the dust loop. Yeah. Right? That the dust loop is fun enough to do that she goes, like, I am just going through the motions on Zoe combined with, like, an annoying dragon resource management minigame. But, again, the dust loop is fun to do. It just looks cool, right? It just looks cool. It's, like, the fact that you do the lightning bounce, like, M-Dragon, lightning bounce, 2H, like, all this. Or, sorry, it's, lightning bounce. Fuck, what? Now I forget the combo. But there's, like, a lot of, like, your opponent keeps bouncing up and down. Was this list supposed to be? How fun every character was to get to master. Now that we've gotten the whole roster there. The dust loop is just fun to do, right? The dust loop is just fun to do. Otherwise, the reason that she's still this low down, I think, is that, I just don't like her dragon resource management minigame. It's just not the kind of thing that I fuck with. And she also just feels a little weak, right? It's not fun to play underpowered characters. And Zoe, to me, definitely feels like an underpowered character. Kag was pretty fun. Kag, was she fun evil? Kag might be fun evil. Kag, it was fun to just put traps on people and watch them break down. Yeah, like that really is like, that's the main thing I remember from the Kag Road to Master is like setting 2 traps down, running at someone, and just knowing that they were damned if they do, damned if they don't, right? If they tech, they get you know, delay tech baited or just throw tech baited into death into a full combo, and if they don't tech, then I back throw them into the trap and I get a full combo. It just felt very silly for sure. The post knockdown set play that Kag has feels so incredibly strong in like such an oppressive way that I think I really enjoy doing it. UL's alright. She was alright. It was cool. I mean, bonking people over and over with the overhead was kind of fun. I liked, really the thing that saves UL from the lower tiers is just her voice lines are really funny. Her going like, you're man, right? And like, jack off you and all this, that shit is fun. And like this, yeah, the southern accent in general, the character is like just the personality is very, very enjoyable, and like, you know, the stance is funny. Like it's a lot of like, here's my chance, yeah, here's my chance. Like a lot of the external factors, I think. Playing UL outside of like doing the stance overhead like 3 times in a row, which is funny sometimes, is kind of whatever. Just kinda, again, she feels weak to me. So I'll really enjoy that. And also, yeah, I don't know, right? So, she's alright. She really is just alright. You're mine. I'm glad you showcased the corner knockdown into M-Trap and ports. So oppressive. Even beats command grab reversals. Yeah, only loses to mashing on wake up, which, like, good luck. Here's my champs. Indeed. Jack off you! I love UL's design visually and the voice lines, but her playstyle's not my cup of tea. Kind of similar, right? I didn't mind the playstyle that much, but it wasn't, like, great. Like, it would have been, like, going through the motions, but then, you know, she's cute and funny, so I put her here. Dude, is it crazy? I don't even remember. I feel like it was probably I don't even remember what I thought about this guy. Oh, his throw bait was funny. Ooh, I do. Okay. Now thinking about it, I liked using his throw bait. The throw bait did feel pretty fun, but I think, yeah, outside of that, he's not much of my kind of character. But doing his dive kicks throw baits did feel really stupid for sure. But yeah, I think he's probably just fine. Nothing. Unfortunately, just like the Uno player base doesn't exist, I don't have too much to say about Uno. Eustace, not really through any fault of his own, I don't think. But Eustace definitely goes into, like, Eustace, when I think about it, Eustace might be my least favorite master run, just because you have to think about timeline here, right? I start the game, I get Ladiva to master, and then I play Soares, and then I play Vasaraga, and then I play Eustace, right? It was a big transition in game plan, and it was not the kind of game plan that I usually enjoy. Eustace also had pretty clunky combos. Like, he didn't have like a consistent launcher. They gave, like, in the corner, they gave him that in the patch. He had to, like, 5 UU, and sometimes it wouldn't work if you mistimed it or something like that. He was, like, the first, at least mostly zoner character that I played. I didn't really like how little damage he dealt a lot of the time outside of H grenades. Eustace is also like a very lab monster heavy character, so like a lot of his strength is not immediately apparent when you play him. So again, I feel like he felt pretty weak to me when I was playing him too. Like, it was kind of the perfect storm of everything for me to not really enjoy playing Eustace very much. I don't think it's necessarily, like, if I did this again today, I think I would have more fun. But he really is just a victim of circumstance, I think. Seox is like the person that I created going through the motions for. This is kind of an Armaya flip problem, where I'm sure, well, it might even be worse than an Armaya flip problem. I'm sure that I could have played Seox in a more engaging way, but I just learned his little, like, corner combo, where, you know, he does auto combo, Rekka, whatever, right? Auto combo, Rekka into the kick, into the double palm strike, right? Into close H fireball, into, like H auto combo, into, like, H empty hand, fake it, land into a high-low, and it kills everyone all the way to master, right? So it's not a particularly fun combo to do. Like, it's not like a dust loop or something like that. And it's just, yeah, and it's just too effective. It's too effective at these lower levels. It might even remain pretty effective at higher levels. That combined with relatively low damage, combined with him being more of this like pixie style character, I didn't fuck with as much, but it was fun being as fast as he was. He wasn't like annoying or anything like that. He was just kind of boring, right? He was just kind of boring to me, I think. Vera was fun, I think. Vera was fun because of install, right? What does frustrating / annoying mean? It means the character was frustrating / annoying to get to master. I'm sorry if that's like, I'm genuine. I meant like, maybe that is I mean, the words are self-describing, right? They were annoying for me to learn and play. Vera was fun because of install. Something about the fact that the sheer difference between non-install Vera and install Vera, especially when I played her before she got the buffs I played her before she got the buffs in the wellness patch. So like, base Vera was not super fun to play, but it was like, it's because like it felt like you really earned something, you got somewhere when you landed that command grab, when you got a crouching auto combo into Luminaria, into 5U, or you just supered and got the install. You really felt a difference. It felt like a very big jump in power. So it's kind of weird. It's almost like an abusive relationship, but like the fact that, you know, because you start so low, the fact that you can get so high, and the variability in every round based on how early you get into install versus whether or not you even get into install at all, was quite engaging. I liked playing Vera quite a lot for that. Bubs was pretty fun. I mean, his voice lines are funny. The smell of cum. The smell! This was pretty good. The character is buzzsaw in below master rank as well. He's got so many different things to use. Like, it's the exact opposite of Seox. You are never, ever, ever going to like do the same thing twice. 2 rounds in a row with Beelzebub. By my wings. Yeah. He has like so many different tools. He just fucking throw shit at the wall. All of them are good too, so he just like do shit and it works. Dive kick is really fun to use. His combos are super flashy and fun to do. He's just fun, right? The character is just really, really fun. He has a command grab super, which is always, you know, bonus points in my head. Fucked with Bubs heavily. Belial is definitely fun evil. I mean, this is literally the only character I got to master with a 100% win rate. You want to talk about having fun because it feels like you're oppressing everyone that you fight. But Belial was this to like the moon and back, right? It just didn't feel like anyone could play the game this entire road to my. He just did all his fucking shit. He had too many. I mean, yes, a lot of his moves are reaction checks, which like those are still good even at top level, but they're crazy good in like S++. Motherfucker's just not gonna react to his command grab, to his MDP, to the fireball, all of this, right? Yeah, you just put people in the fucking dungeon and they go straight to hell and they never get to play the game and they just die. All right, it felt fun in a very oppressive way that I really fucked with. Abel is fun, Narn activate. This is probably my 5th favorite master run if I had to guess, after Ladiva, Vasaraga, Soras, and He Who Shall Not Be Named until later. Also the opening of Who's Gonna Tell Him? Yep. A little bit of Discovery too. That Belial was still a lot better than I thought he was as well, but. Abel, yeah, this is again a one-chance character, right? High damage. He had very fun combos to do back in the day. Maybe not quite as much anymore, though I'm not sure. Maybe I'd still enjoy doing Abel's combos. But I did a lot of the same thing with Abel. I just did that reset, like 2H into flight into whatever option. But that felt very fun, right? That felt very fun. Here you wanted my character, Catalina, shot dead in the streets, Brick. Say it ain't so. I know you play Catalina, Cookie. I know you. I don't want her shot dead in the streets. I want her nerfed a little bit, for sure. Basically, he's just fun, right? High damage, flashy, fun to do combos. Also very versatile. You can play him as a zoner one game and then play him as a rushdown the next game. So it never really got stale. He's got a command grab super. He's got crazy comeback potential. He is jerking off like mid-sets. It's what can you say, right? Abel's really fun. Anila was also really fun, believe it or not, just because of 66H. This is the most addicted to a move I think I've ever been on any of the Road to Masters. I must have done Anila was before the ranked rework, and I think I got her to master in like a couple of hundred games, and I think I must have used 66H a quadruple digit number of times. I have to have used 66H more than 4 times per game, probably more. There's a solid argument that I did Anila 66H 2,000 times or more during that master run. It just, something about that move is like pure dopamine to me. Outside of that, she's also, she's cute. She's got the sheep. They're very cute. Her, I like looping safe jump stuff that she has in the corner. She is, Terrence Bogard. I fucked with her heavy, right? But mostly this is a placement entirely for Anila 66H. So fun, I banned your best move. Yep. I mean, that's the only time something like that's ever been done, right? It's because again, I used it. I must have used it 2,000 times, genuinely. And it would have been more if it wasn't for the fact that it was banned for a week. So yeah, really fun move. I don't know they nerfed Anila 66H at all, TBH. They did? They didn't, right? When did they nerf Anila 66H? Did they? Is that recent? Anila 66H has been... It was the same when I played her. When did they nerf it? Don't think so. I don't think so either. They nerfed other things about Anila. Didn't they only buff it? Yeah, they nerfed other things about it. They nerfed, like, just the reward off of it? I don't think they did that either. No, I don't think they did that either. It's, She never got a hit. She never got a combo on regular hits, and she still gets the world on counter hits. I don't think you're right. That would have stood out? Yeah, no, I don't believe so. Siegfried. He was fun enough, right? He's all right. I liked when he does far H into slam and gets a shit ton of damage. He felt kind of like a filler episode to me. I'm misremembering me to buff Anila 66H, so true. It felt a little bit filler episode-y to me. He's just a guy. I didn't use Dragon Blood that much either, which, I guess probably would have made it a little bit more engaging. We did have the Goku like modded into his SSBA, which is a big reason. Like, that was fun. Whenever you added that and like Prowler Goku was staring at your ass, that was pretty fun. As got Seek to Master, people jump and they die. His anti-airs were fun to do. His 2H was fun to use, but I don't know. Something about it. Maybe it's because we played a bunch of like the Shotos back to back. I have Blue Lobster. That is funny. Maybe we played like a bunch of the Shotos back to back, and he didn't quite stand out as much as some of the other ones of them, like power level wise. But it was fine. I didn't dislike it, but I have no strong feelings looking back on this. Is Nier annoying, or is she just kind of? I feel like Nier was kind of interesting to play. I don't think she was. I don't know that I would call her fun. I don't think I like playing Nier, but I think it was all right just because it was kind of interesting to play her. Nier is so different. Like, she's the least pick up and play character in Granblue these days. She is very weak, but she's so weak that it almost becomes like interesting in and of itself, right? It becomes like a journey of discovery, playing this character and seeing like how many things kill her and how many things she just loses to and things like that. So I think, yeah, Nier was, it's almost like, it was interesting to play Nier. And she also does have high highs, right? She can certainly hit very hard when you do it. But yeah, like having to learn like a whole new combo theory, like the programming of death, things like that, right? Like playing around being deathless. It's never dull, certainly, with Nier, right? There's a lot that she can do, and there's a lot of different variation in how well a round can go for her, usually against her favor, but I think it does make her interesting to play, if nothing else, right? Kallian is the GOAT Shoto, and Shotos are healthy top tiers. I'm not, like, I mostly don't disagree with that sentence, right? I don't disagree with that sentence, but, I love that you have to think about routing into reload. Yeah, like, it's engaging playing her. This is almost like a case of, like, challenges creating excitement, right? Like, you have to deal with things that you don't have to on other characters, and it stands out so much to the point that it actually becomes, like, an interesting little puzzle to worry about, right? Especially combining her being like a, puppet character, pseudo-puppet character, whatever you want to call her, so that she plays in a very different way than the rest of the cast, too. Grim is not my kind of character. I don't know what it is. I didn't really like playing Grim. He's super strong. I played him before he got nerfed, too, so he was, like, arguably the best character in the game when I played him. He's super strong. The seal dash stuff is fun. Honestly, I feel like I don't... Okay, this is a silly thing. I feel like I play my fighting games on a controller, and I use the analog stick for them, and you have to use the D-pad. You have to use the D-pad to, like, consistently be getting, like, the proper directional inputs on Grimm's seal dashes. That's part of it. But, like, I don't know. I also just don't fuck with him like that. I don't fuck with him like that. He's not my kind of character. I'm not sure if it's because... I don't know. I really couldn't tell you. The pad struggle is very real sometimes. Yeah, that's part of it. But I think it's just, like... Yeah, I can't verbalize it into words. He's a goofy little, funny little guy. But I guess just doing the things that are good on Grimnir is not fun for me. Right? A lot of the seal dash stuff, a lot of the... Maybe I don't like movement-based characters? That must be it, right? If I have to verbalize it in the simplest way, I don't think I like characters... Like, you know, I don't mind the fact that Lodiva is big and slow. If anything, the fact that she has, like, more limited movement options and stuff like that is, like, again, part of where, you know, yeah, friction is fun, challenge creates, like interesting gameplay moments for me. It's, like, almost his movement is, like, too good and he's too freeform? Or something like that? I'm not sure. Whatever it is, like, something about Grimnir just isn't, like, almost everything about Grimnir is just not that fun for me to do. It's not annoying. I'm just, like, not having that much of a good time with it, right? Lucy was actually kind of annoying to play. For a kind of a similar reason as Siegfried, or as Percival. Lucy feels clunky. I don't like 12-second cooldowns at round start. Yeah, he's also one of these defensive style characters, but which I don't inherently enjoy. And he's also felt like, you know, he's fine, but he didn't feel particularly strong when I played him. I played him post-nerf, right? So yeah, he's kind of like, he's clunky. He's not exactly my kind of playstyle. The cooldowns thing really sucks. Like, it just really does not, I don't enjoy that. Like, I understand, like, why they do it for balance reasons, because Lucy's specials are all very good, but it's just not it for me. It's just not it for me. I don't really fuck with him like that whatsoever. 2B was just fun. I don't even know. No, 2B was fun evil. Yeah, 2B is fun evil because especially in like S+ and S++, 5H is fun evil, right? That's all. Like just hitting 2B 5H and having that invalidate like 90% of S+ players felt very stupid for sure. That button definitely does not. It's still very good no matter how high you go, but it certainly gets a lot less insta-winny when you're fighting better players. But it really is. They should just have an insta-win button. It was that and like double jump JH. It just. Doing those two things beats 90% of people in S+ when you're smurfing, and it just felt stupid for sure. There's a lot of times where just the sheer ease of winning neutral was quite satisfying. Dude, Vayne, I like almost want to, I forgot about you. You're probably my number. Yeah, actually, I almost want to put you in like, dude, I almost want to put you in Lodiva. I know it sounds weird. It's weird to put Vayne in the tier called Lodiva, but this, like, I want to play this character more, I think. This is like one of the only other characters that I've ever played in a Road to Master where I'm like, hold the fucking phone. I want to, like, just play more of this character, not even to, like, get better at them necessarily, just because I enjoyed playing Vayne so goddamn much. And you'd think, well, like, Vayne was the third last character we did to master. So, like, at that point, you know, the novelty of just, like, picking up a new character had really worn off. But Vayne, he's just fun, man. He has a big fucking hammer. He swings it. He does ridiculous damage. Shield is an interesting move in that, you know, it's very matchup dependent, but also in every matchup, it's good in the corner, right? He's got a fun personality. He says Hawk Tua. He has those big, like, just take the entire health bar off your opponent moments. He's just fun. It's hard to describe. He's like a lot of what I like about Lodiva, outside of her having a command grab, right? Is there with Vayne too, right? He's just like, he's a little bit less one chance, but I mean, again, Vayne getting you in the corner with the damage that he does with a shield up on you is a horrible situation for the opponent. I can't quite, like, I just fucking loved playing Vayne, I'm not gonna lie to you. I fucking loved it. Beatrix was also fun evil, honestly, just because of the Beatrix mind control ray. Yeah, it's the mind control ray. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the Beatrix mind control ray is, people mash on this character more than any character I've ever seen. Again, I've played the entire roster to master, and it is no one. And I was playing the same S+ and S++ in a lot of cases, and I played them over the ages, you know, where S+ was better or worse at different times, whatever. At no point with the other 36 characters did I get mashed on 1/5 of the amount of time that I did on Beatrix. People are terrified of this character. The power that you feel, like this almost convinced, like, it's insane. The power that you feel playing Beatrix is close to unrivaled by like, maybe Lawayne is the only other time I felt stronger in S++ and below than Beatrix. She just, and it's not even like the win rates, because it was good. I mean, obviously Belial is king there, he's got 100%, but it's like the way that you win. It feels like you win because the opponent is too terrified to do literally anything, right? They don't want to give you even a second of having a turn, so they just mash, and then guess what? Beatrix gets amazing damage off of counter hit close H, so you go straight to fucking hell. It's crazy. The Beatrix Mind Control Ray is a power that I've never felt in any fighting game. It's a real thing. Yep. Again, this is maybe 5x the amount of time that I would get mashed on in a normal, like, it was happening 6 to 7 times a round sometimes, like, to the point that I wasn't even ready to convert off it half the time. Like, you mashed? What the hell? And then, you know, once I got a little bit more used to it, it would be happening like twice or 3 times around because they die on time 3, but incredibly sadistically fun character, that Beatrix lady. And I mean, also, just clock robbery, right? Getting clock, being like low on health into riding, free, into SSBA, into just put it on the board. We robbed like 30 people 30 different times with that. So much of this character is just good, dirty fun. Not clean fun, good, dirty fun. Watch your toes, Bucko, guess for game. Bucko, absolutely, right, absolutely. Versuja was... She was fine. I liked playing her. She felt strong, for sure, right? Versuja felt strong. She did a lot of damage. She went to be Reborn. I like that a lot, too. Is she fun? You didn't get mashed on with UL? People aren't scared of UL, man. As they shouldn't be, to be fair. Yeah, I just... Thinking back, I have no strong opinions on Versuja. I remember thinking like, oh yeah, this character, I thought she was good, and she's definitely good. And it was right after her nerfs as well, so I was like definitely analyzing like how much I thought the nerfs mattered and things like that. I didn't dislike playing Versuja, but again, one that I find myself in hindsight with no strong feelings on, right? Don't really remember much of what I thought about it, so again, nothing really stands out compared to, like, you know, when you're in 37 characters. There are ones that are really, really long, ones that are in the middle that I still remember, and this one not quite as much. Vikala was not annoying to play because people are bad at fighting zoners. Yeah, she was fun, I think. I just liked Vikala. Yeah, she was fun because she's cute, right? She was fun because she's my daughter. She's fun because her animations are adorable. She's fun because, yeah, like, the RNG is bad, but it's fun, right? Like, it's not good for her being strong, but it is like a huge neuron activation moment when you just like pull a star and then like a spike ball and then a star like back to back. It doesn't happen very often, but like those are the moments that you remember usually. Or even like when you get like 7 balls in a row, it's funny. Like it's still something that I remember. I remember that one time I got like ball, smoke bomb, ball, cannonball, like smoke bomb, ball, hard cheese ball or something like that. And I was gonna fucking kill myself. But like it's funny. Like I remember that. I remember like feeling really like incensed at the game in that moment. The RNG is inherently, it's entertaining, even if it makes her not very good, I think. Curious to go back and see what makes Percy annoying. I don't like resource management, it feels kind of clunky to me, and I don't inherently enjoy defensive playstyles, personally. Flame Carpet is fun to use, but that's about it for me. But yeah, Vikala, she's just fun, right? Cute, fun, random bullshit go means that there's a lot of variation of what happens round to round. Very enjoyable. Sandy is also fun for a very similar, well, not a similar reason to Vikala, but at least in terms of there's a lot of variation round to round. I played Sandy right when he came out, and I really enjoyed just trying to figure out what element was best in what matchup, and sometimes that was base, sometimes that was fire, but I really enjoyed, yeah, this like being like, oh, we're fighting Beatrix, I get to pull out Earth, you know, or like, oh, we're fighting a character without a fireball, I'm gonna do Water Ball. And Water Ball, especially when Sandy first came out, was really fun to use, because there's a lot of like dumb setups that people were discovering, like unblockables and shit like that, and combos that wouldn't work otherwise without Water Ball. So he's just fun, right? He's just good, clean Shoto fun. He's probably my favorite of the Shotos to play, if I had to guess. Yeah, I think so. I also really enjoy doing the Sandalphon combo. I can definitely see why people don't like being hit by the Sandalphon combo. But I really like doing it. A lot of his combos are very visually flashy to me. He's got a lot of animations, a lot of cutscenes he puts you in, a lot of wall bounces. I like that a lot. As well as both of his super animations being really fun. He's just like overall a cool character to play, I think. When I'm low on Ladiva and the Sandy pulls out Wind, oh baby boy. I mean, you're gonna get zoned, probably, but what if you hit him, though? What if you hit him? Galleon is also fun. Galleon is, I mean, listen, first off, she's hot as fuck. Right? If you don't think that matters, you're crazy. I am very attracted to Galleon. That helped a lot. But also, she's got a command grab. She does a lot of damage. Her game plan is, like, quite interesting to me. Like the setup of the meteor and the kind of shit she can do with the meteor and all of this. She's maybe even fater than portrait. Yeah. So, like, and also her dragon form. Like, to this day, the 20-minute, like, special interest autistic rant about just how big Galleon's dragon form is. Like, that, I know it's not getting the character to master, but it is something that I always think about, like, every time she SSBAs, just when I'm playing the character in general. Like, how cool her dragon form is really big for me, too. People play her because she's hot. Let's not even play. It's part of it, at least. It's part of it, right? So, like, on every level, I enjoy this character, right? Again, having a command grab that she can combo off of is really fun to me, too, so I'll wind back my arm and smack with her SSBA literally every time. Yeah. And, I mean, Wilness is also Lodiva. This is literally my co-main now. He's so fun. I say Lodiva is the most fun I've had in this game with a character. Wilness is probably there, honestly. Like, this character is ridiculously, stupidly fun to play. Again, I mean, that same one chance potential, the Guilty Gear 6P it just feels really stupid to use. His animations are just impeccable. He has the best SBA in the game, and arguably one of the best SBAs in the game as well. Hadron looks really funny with the Slayer bounce as well, right? The step dash is really cool. The sheer feeling of like, oh no, when he ever hits anyone with anything, especially a counter hit, is satisfying in a way that very few things are in this video game, I think. And he's also just a gigantic, stupid himbo guy who's very fun, and his voice lines are cool too. And he's got a 50-50, which is very fun to use, and it's high reward, and. Right? I love playing Wilness. I love playing Wilness. Surprised you don't want to put Voss and Lodiva tier bows in here first placement. I like playing Voss a lot, but for me, Vasaraga, he was very frustrating to learn. Eventually we got there. He's like, he would be like top of fun neuron activation for sure. It's like, if I had to try and like order these somewhat, it's probably like boom, 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 like this, right? With like left being most fun, right being least, right? And then something like this, this, a little bit of that, something like this maybe, and then further down here, yeah. These two are probably lower down than the rest of them. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, this seems right to me. That's ordered now, I think. Poor Gran, there's no tier list he could beat Cat and Belial on. Poor guy, man. No, he's better than Belial. Haven't you heard, man? He's better than Belial after the nerfs. Don't even worry about it. This seems right to me. Yeah. This seems correct. I think I fuck with this. Makes sense. He's my first character back in vanilla, so I forgot he's kind of weird to learn. Yeah, and also I played Voss back when he was a lot clunkier. I played him before the Versuja patch. He got buffed mid-master run for me. So like, a lot of things on Vasaraga were still, like, he could do a lot of cool stuff, but he was way clunkier on like the Beatrix patch than he is today. They made him a lot more consistent with everything, right? With like the U-tackle changes, and also with like 5M being the way that it is, and a lot of his like stance follow-ups getting faster and all of that. He gets like way more consistent conversions off anything compared to what he did when I played him. So he's fun though. He's like the closest to like popping up here, right? Honestly, fun neuron activation should be above fun evil, I think, I will say. These characters are more fun. It's always more fun to just play a character who's like good, clean fun versus one where it's fun just because you feel like you're shitting on people. Yeah. And the EX characters, I mean, if I had to rank how fun it was to play the EX characters, we're not getting them to master, but just how fun they felt to play, I feel like EX Gran is neuron activation, EX Narmaya is neuron activation, and EX Jita is alright. Kind of like regular Jita to me. Yeah, that sounds about right, you know? That seems about right to me. Hey, I mean, good news. Again, over half the cast isn't fun. There's only really 4 ones that I think I would say I disliked. Right? Grim, Matera, Zoe, Narmaya, and Seox to me felt a little boring, but I wasn't like, oh, I hate this. These, at certain points, I was like, I kind of want these to be done. I'm not gonna, like, I had the thought where I was like, I want to be, like, done with it. Let's Be Fair was frustrating to get to master. I ain't alone. Yeah, it's not because she was weak. Like, I played her back when she was pretty good, I would say. I mean, Percy, even when I played him, was arguably like the second best character in the game or something like that. But like, it's just not my cup of tea, right? It's not my cup of tea. Gotta update the list later on after Meg and Ilsa arrive. True. When we get everyone to 1,000 gems, we can figure out if this list changes at all either, but I think this looks right to me. Overall, turns out this shit was pretty fun, and I am glad that for a long time, I mean, honestly, kind of never again. We never really have to smurf again, right? Because, like, even Meg and Ilsa, you know, unfortunately, what ends up happening is when the DLC first comes out, everyone's smurfing. So, like, you know, people, and a lot of people aren't, usually, like, will avoid ranked for a few weeks. So, like, or a week or two or something like that. So, like, really, we're gonna be fighting other smurfs when we get Meg to master, when we get Ilsa to master, so. The only other time I should ever have to smurf ever again, which is, you know, a slightly frustrating part of, like, all of these, except for maybe Ladiva and Vasaraga, is maybe if I try and, like, start from B rank and just do the things that I'm doing in my guides. That's, like, less smurfing. I'm not going to be using my fundamentals, right? So that's not really gonna be smurfing. Yeah. An end to smurfing. Holy shit. He's so happy. I'm very pleased to that. I did not really enjoy doing that, but the Road to Masters were fun enough, educational enough, insightful enough, that I think it was worth it. Very just a frustrating character if you aren't a B-paw kind of player. Yeah, I mean, I like playing with Diva and Wilness and Vayne. You know, where do you think zoners fit into that? They don't really. And like Vasaraga and Soras, right? I mean, Vayne, I will say the way that I play Vayne, I don't play him like a zoner, certainly. Maybe in some matchups when you're fighting Vasaraga or something, or Charlotta or Soras. But by and large, I play this character as like a mid-range, aggressive bruiser type character, I think. I found Grimnir really fun to master, personally. This is the one that I couldn't explain the most. I don't know why I don't fuck with him like that. I don't know. I don't know. I watched those Loane videos. I was having a good time. But like, well, okay. I was like, oh my god, what the fuck am I doing? But like, it was the pinnacle of like fun evil, right? On the surface, I'm like, oh no, what am I doing to these poor S++s? Oh no. But like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I have 30,000 health this round. What the fuck is this? Again, it felt like discovering fire. It was like, it was crazy. Never ever gonna snag a fight with you on ladder ever though. Just get to master. Grim's buttons seem a little clunky to use. Maybe. I don't know if his far H was fun. I don't know. Now that everyone's a master, what's your plan? I mean, we do have like a lot of streams like this where we won't even play the video game, certainly. But I think something that I do want to do. We'll see if I actually end up going through with this, or if I find something else that I want to do as kind of the mainstay content for the stream. As we go forward, but I think something that I am interested in doing is getting people to high master. Not just for the sake of doing it, but genuinely because I think it is a very different game, right? Like 1,000 gem master is very different than S++. And I want to do it mostly for selfish purposes. I want to see if it changes my opinion of how strong the cast is, or how good certain tools are, or certain matchups, or things like that. But I don't know if that's going to be a little repetitive. I don't think it will be, just because, like, you know, for example, we did this with Vasaraga. It's been a year since I played Voss on the channel, right? It's been a year, like a year and a half since I played Soras on the channel, so I don't think it should be repetitive. I'm a very different guy, and we're going to kind of go in chronological order. We're going to play Soras next, probably. We already got Voss there. So, like, it should feel pretty different, and a lot of these characters are very different than when I got them to Master 2, right? So, need more EX characters in the next updates? That'd be cool. I'd be down for that, too. But yeah, we'll see. I'm still kind of thinking about it. Voss has got buffed since you played him, yeah. In a tier list for whatever moments, like, it's a reversal I fear are called that powerful reoccurring shit. I mean, like, this is kind of, like, the ones that feel like they have something really cheap that you just do over and over are mostly, like, these guys, right? Like, that kind of goes into the fun evil, by and large, I think. Alright, what I want to do, like, one more of these kind of... What's the consensus on EX Narm? I think he's fine. I think he's pretty good. I think he's like vaguely like lower end of high tier for me personally. We made a tier list yesterday. EX Narmaya is the highest damage character in the game in the mid screen. So that's a pretty big deal. Her Grand Blue Zone is also very good. Her defense is very her defensive reward is very good, and she has pretty solid defensive buttons for it. And she has really bad up close pressure is the thing, right? The thing holding EX Narmaya back, her like, you know, in-your-face pressure are like some of the worst in the entire game. Maybe the worst in the game. There's really an argument for it. Because she has no good throw baits. I mean, her walk speed is fine. But like, she has no good throw bait. She has no good thing to cancel into on pressure. And yeah, right? Yeah. So it's quite horrible. That's like the big weakness that holds her back, I think. Bad offense and her fireball is quite bad. Yeah, again, like right in your face like that. She can Grand Blue Zone you pretty well and get good damage off of it, but she has to, right? A lot of the characters that can Grand Blue Zone, they're also carried by the fact that you don't really know. They can be versatile. They can Grand Blue Zone or they can be in your face. She kind of has to Grand Blue Zone you, which is a big weakness for sure, right? Now again, I think she has enough strengths, again, being literally the single highest damage character in the mid-range, or in the mid-screen, outside of, again, Blade Level 5 Lucilius, who doesn't exist. Nier, maybe, who does it at a very high cost to herself, and even then, I think a lot of the times, EX Narmaya is comparing to Nier or exceeding her off a lot of hits, and then she's, like, slightly above Willness in, like, most cases, right, is what it ends up being. So that's a big enough strength to me that, it mitigates, you know, a very bad weakness and having very terrible up-close pressure. I think I wanted to talk about, I wanted to talk about, like, the worst moves, the worst normals, the worst specials, things like this, but I think I want to do a little bit more planning before I go into something like that. You know what I think I'm gonna do? Remember how we talked about, well, I guess you remember how we talked about how we, like, ranking characters by how, like, downplayed they feel or how much I feel out of step with the rest of the community? I think I want to do that again. Yeah. I think I want to do that again. That sounds like a great idea. Let's do that. That'll be the last thing we do, because, like, another, like, one final kind of roster retrospective, and then we'll do more different kind of stuff like this. But first, you know what I want to do to pull this up? I want to grab, a Blaze guy? A Blaze guy, there you go. I want to grab this auto video that I was looking at earlier, right? So, this video, this video to me is very interesting, right? Because basically what, shout out, Autonomous right there, a Blaze guy. What he did is he asked 21 different people. I mean, Otto's probably, he's probably asking, like, you know, higher level players, tournament players, like, at least, you know, net play warriors at worst, like, you know, online, like, tournaments. And he asked them for their tier lists, then he sort of, like, I assume he doesn't fully share the methodology he used to make this list, but he, like, roughly averaged out their placements to make what he called the ultimate Grand Blue 2.1 tier list. Of course, some characters are going to be a little different here. Most of them not really, right? The Willness patch did not change as much, besides introducing new characters. So I kind of want to use this as a baseline, right? Because this, spoiler, I am gonna, yes, hi, I know you skipped to the end of the video, I don't blame you. It's true. I am doing that. I did watch this video in full prior, okay? So it's okay. Otto, I gave you your watch time, don't worry. But, this tier list is pretty interesting to me, right? It's a pretty interesting tier list to me, because in many ways, I feel very, very out of step with this tier list on a lot of my opinions. Some of these feel totally valid, but this is probably the best thing that we have. This is the best thing that we have to a representation of the higher-ish level community's opinions of what the tier list looked like last patch, right? Again, I'm not entirely sure who Otto asked, but again, the people that Otto would be talking to in the community is probably, again, other Grandmaster level players, other people who join online tournaments, maybe even some people who go to offline tournaments, things like this. Like, that sort of top vaguely, like, 2 to 3% of the Grand Blue population are gonna be the people that Otto asked to make this list. So this is with this being an average of 21 different people's opinions, this is the closest thing we have to, like, a general community tier list that is, like, being made seriously, right? Outside of course, our beautiful, democratic, patriotic tier list. So I wanted to take this as an example and kind of think about, in my opinion, obviously, you know, this is 21 people, many of whom are probably better than I am, 21 people's opinion on the video game, but in my opinion, who do I think here is most downplayed and least downplayed, or most upplayed, even, right? So let's take this as a baseline, right? Let's take this as a baseline, and let's use it. Let me let's take like a screenshot of this, just so I can have it. I can pull it up on, like, not a browser tab. Oh god, hold up. YouTube.com is now full screen. I get that. There we go. Let's grab this right here. Sorry, Otto, I am just fully stealing your shit. Shout out. Go subscribe to Autonomous. Go give him like $5 or something like that if you've got the money to spare. Give it to me first, of course, but then give it to him. So I want to have this up so I can pull it up maybe even side by side it here. And let's do this to YouTube Creator Studio. No. I want this. There you go. So I'm not gonna make a tier list because we spent the entire time yesterday making, like, the whole stream yesterday making a tier list. It's gonna be more so, I think, similar to what we did before. We're gonna have major upplay, minor upplay, or no, I think I have major downplay as a top tier, right? Major downplay, right? Minor downplay. Honest Abe. And then we had minor upplay, and then we had Hopium, I think, was the tier name that I used for the major upplay, right? Hopium. So, yeah, just going to see how out of step these feel with my own personal opinions. Now, you know, I'm not saying that I'm super smart and handsome and right about everything I say. Maybe. I mean, maybe you might draw that conclusion from listening to me talk. You might be like, this is the smartest, most handsome man that I've ever seen, and I want to give him $5 immediately. That could be you. That could not be you, okay? I'm not saying that has to be you. I'm saying it could be. It could be, though. Like, it could be. I'm not saying it has to be. I'm saying it could be. But even if it's not, I'm just sharing my opinion, man. I'm just sharing my opinion. And then Hopium can be, I guess, actually, it's kind of the opposite, right? I kind of want... This is going to be the opposite sort of our normal control, like, color scheme here. Or we're going to go, like, orange, yellow, and then, like, green, blue. Because kind of like, you know, the Hopium is the more positive end of the spectrum. Only fourth? Excuse me? So, let's see here. Let's start with, where is Gran on this list? So this is a 6-tier list, which actually, this aligns with now how I currently think about the video game. I do think there probably are 6 tiers of characters, right? Now, keep in mind, this is 2.1, right? So some characters have been nerfed, buffed, etc. So you gotta keep that in mind. Gran is not one of those characters. So this is basically, I have him in the 4th tier from the top right here. That to me would be basically a mid-tier character. That's not a crazy thing to say about Gran. I would say this is minor downplay. I think I would say that Gran, I mean, honestly, I guess I could pull up my own just for reference here, so you know what I'm thinking. So I am referencing this in my head. I can pull up the tier list that I made yesterday based on having gotten the Casta Master, right? I have Gran here in, like, the 3rd highest tier. They basically have him right there. A tier of difference. If I one like thing to mention, I feel like it should be high mid. Yeah, that's valid, right? So here's the thing, right? A tier of difference. If I ever look at a tier list and they are within a tier of my own opinion, I usually call that fine. You know what I mean? That's fair, right? That's fair. Like, I would say that is fair enough to me. Because at the end of the day, these things are so subjective. Everyone has so many biases injected into it and all of this. They're like, 1 tier of difference? Fair enough. So to me, this is a 1 tier difference. It's 1 tier lower than I would put Gran. Minor downplay. That's kind of what we're going to be going off of. The EX characters did not exist in this time frame, so we're going to ignore them. As far as Jita, they have Jita... Oh, wait, this is not theirs. This one is theirs. They have Jita basically as a low tier character, where again, I would probably have Jita. Honestly, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a group out of my tier list and the other tier list. There you go, right? So I have Jita here. Yeah, I forgot. I have EX Jita as a mid tier. Yeah, I mean, 2 tiers. Again, this is pretty... I think Jita is a lot. I mean, she got buffed a little bit this patch. What is this tier list for? Basically, I'm ranking how just got here. Sorry if it was asked already. No worries. I'm ranking how downplayed I feel like the different characters, downplayed or upplayed, different characters in the video game are, comparing
you are
to...
the most intelligent, handsome, educated fellow I have ever seen, Brick.
Wow. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, man. Much appreciated. Thank you for the 2,000 HUF. I'm not sure what currency that is, but whatever it is. Very generous of you. Thank you. You didn't actually have to do that. Thank you for giving me what I assume is the equivalent of $5. Much appreciated, brother. You know, sometimes you can't help it. Sometimes you're just so intelligent and handsome that, you know, people just, they flock to you. What can I say? But yeah, this tier list that I'm comparing to right here is a tier list that was made averaging 21, you know, higher tier players' opinions on what the tier list looks like in the video game. So that's what we're doing it based off of. Oh, I have to do this a little bit. There you go. I guess I could zoom out actually a little bit on this one. And then they could be a little bit closer to 50-50. So yeah, Jita, I mean, I feel like Jita being that low is a little... That really is Hungarian Florent? Oh, so true. Also knows Monopoly money. Fair enough. This feels pretty crazy even from last patch, no? Really? This was the average of 21 people's opinions? This seems wild to me, right? I feel like that's a fair place for Jita. Hell no. Nah, Jita is like... I don't think so at all. Again, I feel like a lot of these more like defensive characters that are basically characters that could occupy a similar niche as Catalina. She has 0 rep and she's just not as good as the other Shotos. I kind of disagree. I mean, 0 rep, that one's fair. But like as far as like just not as good, I feel like no. Like yeah, she's not as good as, again, I feel like this bitch basically has like horrendously fucked, and this guy nowadays to a certain extent too, has like horrendously fucked people's ability to like evaluate Shotos. But no, to me that feels like Jita is where is she? She's a lot better than what that tier list implies to me. I don't think Jita's like amazing, right? But I do think Jita is probably a full 2 tiers better than what is being implied here, right? This is wild. Yeah, I mean, this character has, like, she's got a pretty solid throw bait. She's got her charged fireball is one of the better things that, like, any character does. Her damage is actually pretty fucking high in the corner. Don't get it twisted. Like, Jita hits harder than most of the cast in the corner, right? I feel that really gets underplayed. Her buttons are great, right? Yeah, that's wild to me. That's wild. I really, really disagree with, like, so much of the idea that Jita is, like, a low-tier character or even close. Charlotta. Where'd they put Charlotta? Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. It's a little better than I think she is, right? Jita under Charlotta, I don't see it. Yeah, I mean, this is a little better than I think Charlotta is. Again, I guess I have Charlotta at the bottom of low tier here, but you know, this is almost a 2-tier difference. It's almost a 2-tier difference, but it's a 1-tier difference. It's minor downplay. I mean, no one seems to think that Charlotta is like crazy good, right? I mean, this is, I guess, if this is ordered, which I assume it is, I assume Otto did order this, then like it is a very big difference from where I would have her personally. Honest, I guess so, right? Like, if assuming that is ordered, then, like, it is kind of like, it's basically a 2-tier difference, right? Tiers have a majority of defensive characters ranked low, because with 6-tail being the big bad of the game, maybe they want to use that to judge. Not necessarily. We'll get to it in a second. But yeah, like, Charlotte is, to me, I still don't really see it with this character at all. I mean, even, like, the fact that this is, like, 21 people's opinions ranked, and she doesn't even get, like, even with Zeron doing the things that he's doing, she doesn't even get to, like, high tier, right? Like, the equivalent of what they have as a high tier here is telling, I think, right? Wouldn't this be upplay, not downplay? Oh, sorry. Yes. Hopium. I got confused on my own fucking scale. That's Hopium to me. Charlotta being like a top half of the roster character, roughly, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I mean, a little bit. Like, almost a top half of the character, top half of the roster character is, like, crazy to me. Catalina is, like, what, top 7 on this list? It's close enough. They only have 3 characters in this, like, tippy-toppiest tier, right? I mean, I have fucking, like, 6... Catalina's not necessarily the best character in the game, by the way. I feel like these 3, for me, are probably interchangeable, personally. So it's, like, it's fucking... Honestly, like, that is a small enough difference to me that I feel like it's kind of close enough. Like, Catalina feels... Maybe, like, it could be a little bit of downplay. Catalina just feels like everyone agrees this character is strong as fuck, though, right? Like, there's not that much discussion on, like, he's strong. At the end of the day, the difference between, like, so say, like, you know, the lowest interpretation on my tier list is that she's top 3. The lowest interpretation of this one is that she's top 7, right? Top 7 isn't downplay? Well, are you, nothing, do you listen to the stream with the audio off? Or what are you, like, I guess this is kind of the question. Is your chill list 2.2 and the one there is 2.1? Yes, yeah, but so far we haven't gotten to a character that's, like, changed meaningfully. Jita got buffed a little bit, but I don't think it was, like, a big tier difference for her or something like that, right? So, like, you could make an argument that, like, it's a tier difference than where I have her, because I have her in the highest tier, they have her in the second highest tier. But, again, if I have her, like, 3 and this is 7, it's essentially not, right? It's the same opinion, right? The same difference between top 3 and top 7 isn't huge. No, I'm saying that's what I was saying. So I don't know, you know, I was literally explaining that mid-sentence, right? Rick is such a fun streamer to interact with. I guess I'm glad that's the case. You're accounting for the changes? Yeah. So, I mean, Lancelot, for example, is a character where we just have to... I mean, honestly, for where I thought he was last patch, right? Lance is a lot better this patch. There's, like, a top 5 Lance agenda floating around, too. I don't know that I quite buy that. This, for me, for where I thought Lance was last patch, that feels like minor upplay to me, actually. I thought this character was pretty garbage before he got buffed. Maybe I was downplaying him, right? Like, I would have put this character, like, somewhere in the low tier here last patch. So him being, like, 1 tier above that, I think that counts to me. He felt like what's the huge big difference from you know, what's the 2-tier jump from now to before the patch? I mean, it's kind of a stupid question. It's like everything. His reward off everything is higher. He's more resource efficient with his pressure. He, again, the general risk on hitting a button against Lancelot is way higher, which means that he gets to like run his bullshit a lot more on a character that's generally like a lot of his bullshit, if you're feeling confident, like pressing into him is going to get him killed, but now pressing into him is much scarier. He got like 17 synergistic buffs, right? 17 synergistic buffs. Now I think it's minor upplay at least, Hopium, if you're a doubter. This? You think this is minor upplay now? This is downplay on Lancelot right now. Are you kidding? I could be argued to be downplaying Lancelot right now. Right? What are you talking about? Like right now, my placement of Lancelot here could be argued to be downplay for sure. I mean now? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. The other list is from the Galleon patch? Yes, yeah. So again, for where I thought Lance was in the Galleon patch, I think he is a little worse than they're letting on there. Percival is maybe the second, first, third best character in the game, and this list has him as maybe the second, first, third best character in the game, right? Lance players are definitely on Hopium last patch. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, so this is exactly right? Percival he's top 3, 5, 6, 7, again, like in that same range. However good you think Catalina is, I think that Percival, like, they're not very different. Percival is higher highs, less consistent, right? They're a very similar kind of, like, they're both the sort of, like, shining beacon of, like, the defensive Shoto archetype to me. So, both of these characters are crazy strong, and everyone says they're crazy strong. Nothing really too surprising there. La Diva. Yeah, seems right. La Diva has like a vague low mid tier. It's actually almost exactly where she has not changed in the wellness patch whatsoever, right? If anything, could argue she got a little better because Fairy's worse now. That's one of her worst matchups. But like, yeah, La Diva has like a vague low mid tier. Sounds right to me, right? That's exactly, seems correct. La Diva is, I think, if we were in a different meta, if the best characters in the game were all rushdown characters, I think La Diva is actually very strong. But the problem is that we're in a defensive Shoto and zoner meta, and those are both of the archetypes that fuck La Diva the hardest in general, right? Flame Carpet got nerfed, I swear. Yeah, for sure. If anything, I think you upplay La Diva, not gonna lie, in this meta. Maybe. I mean, I have her almost exactly the same place that these other people have her, but, you know. I feel like La Diva, I have La Diva as like a mid-tier who is mid-tier because the meta fucks her, I think. I think La Diva on her merits is quite strong, actually, right? La Diva, like, on her, she's a good character with a lot of counters. Exactly. I think La Diva is actually quite strong now. Like, post-Galleon patch, the stuff she does with, like, light SPD on defense is very good into 6XL. Her backdash weakness is much worse than it used to be, or much better than it used to be. Brave counter is still hard for her, but also she has her own ways to deal with it, etc., etc. But Matera, like, Percival, Catalina, Lowain, Cagliostro, like, these characters being our like, top tier, or, like, top 10, or whatever it is just, it's rough for her, right? It's rough for her. Matera is, yeah, about right. Again, like, basically the exact, I have Matera. Matera, to me, is, like, as strong as Catalina is, roughly. If gun to my head, I would put characters like Catalina and Percy ahead of Matera. Like, again, if you wanted to put Matera as the best character in the game, I wouldn't necessarily disagree with you, right? But gun to my head, I would say either Percy or Catalina is probably one, or you could argue Beatrix up there too, but I think her nerfs mattered a little bit, but she's still incredibly strong, obviously. But regardless, I have her in my head roughly as strong as this character, and again, top 8 versus top 3, are we really gonna pretend like that's a really big difference? She's strong, everyone says she's strong, right? Playing Rushdown into La Diva is nightmarish. I can't yip like this. Yeah. What's up, people? What's going on, Ash? We're doing a rehashing of the most downplayed characters with evidence this time, because we have a 21-person averaged out tier list from Auto. Shout out. Lowain. Oh, hell no. Okay. If I had seen this, before I played this motherfucker, I would have said this is actually upplay, believe it or not. Nah. Hell no. This is the most downplayed character so far, probably. Well, in downplay gas and NA was going so strong. This is crazy. I mean, again, I was on that too, but like, as soon as I actually like sat down, thought about him, and played him, it was kind of crazy. He needs his own tier, methinks. I mean, this is it's a pretty big difference for where I would put him, for sure, right? That's major downplay, though. That's major downplay. It's a 2-tier difference. It's similar to my thoughts on Jita, but like it's like a 2.5-tier difference, though, right? I'll put him at the top of this for sure, though. That's crazy. This character is nuts, right? I mean, as you can see, again, I mean, Probably, in hindsight, I'd probably put him behind Belial and Beatrix, if I had to guess. He's probably the bottom. You could argue, like, you could very much argue to move him to number 6, and then, like, one of Belial or Beatrix, maybe Beatrix to number 4. But, like, still, this character is crazy good. No way he's fucking, like, low high tier. That's ridiculous. Fairy last patch. Little better than I thought she was, but not really. Because I think last patch, I had Fairy at the top of high tier. This is the bottom of top tier, like, low top tier. It's close enough, right? It's close enough. Close enough. How the devs hated Charlotte the moment they stopped her use / kill animation at round end. Yeah, it's close enough. Like, I think last patch had Fairy, like, where I have Grimnir right now, basically. Like, top of high tier. They have her at the bottom of low top tier. It's the same thing, right? It's literally, like, yes, it's a tier difference, but it is the top of one and the bottom of the other, so, yeah. Not important. Could you rename Honest Abe to Collective Opinion Consensus or something? No, because that's fucking lame. That's a fucking lame name. That's a fucking lame name. Okay. It's catchy to say. Also, I did this with Honest Abe last time, too. Collective Opinion Consensus. How dare you? Alright. Sorry for being lame. You should be. You fucking should be. Where do they have Zeta here? Oh, yeah. No, yeah. Sounds, again, about... Look at me. I'm so goated, man. Sounds about right. Zeta is, like, a roughly, like, vaguely high-tier character. Sounds right to me, for sure. Look at this. Turns out, when I get to, like, higher level players, I agree with a lot more stuff. What do you know? Who would have thought? And then we have Vasaraga. Okay. I will say, I think this is... People were very scared of him after he got buffed. The character is very good. This is the one character of these three who, like... Okay, here's what I'm gonna say. Vasaraga is very good, right? Vasaraga is very good. Still, right? Again, look. But... singling out Percy or Grimnir to put in their own tier in top 3 and saying, like, this character is, like, decisively better than characters like Beatrix and Matera and Catalina and stuff like, and Belial and shit like this, right? These make sense. This, to me, is way bigger of a statement, right? Singling out Voss to put him in top 3 is a little... It's a little much, right? Voss is good enough to exist in a high and top tier zoner meta and still be top 10 at worst. I think it's a little much, right? I think it's a little much to, like, single out Vasaraga as top 3 among all these other characters. It makes a lot more sense to me on him and him, right? So I think it's... Vasaraga is very good, right? It's like the idea that he's, like, if you want to make an argument that Grimnir was a tier better than, like, almost every other strong character last patch, I see that. Percy, I see that, right? This is a little extreme. A little extreme, right? It's almost... I know it's, like, the same thing where I'm, like, I have Voss, like, top 11 and he's top 3 here, but this is a little extreme to me. He's not quite that good. The character is very strong, though, certainly. Yeah, Narmaya seems right. Yep, cock. Yeah, it seems right to me. Narmaya is a very strong character. Not... I mean, I guess they have her a little higher up than I do here. They have her, like, basically top 5, right? But still, about close enough, right? Narmaya is very strong, and they say she's very strong. Yeah, I mean, listen. This is before Sora's got buffed, okay? This is before Sora's got buffed. Sora's got buffed pretty, majorly in this patch, right? With that in mind, with me having Sora's here, I probably would move him down 1 tier. Now that because I used to have only, like, 5 or 4 tiers, right? I did this after the wellness patch. Before Sora's buffs, I probably would have put him, like, here-ish, right? So it's not that. I would say it's minor, right? It's minor. People have been downplaying Sora's from frame 1. Yeah, it's a tier difference. They have him top a mid tier instead of, like, top a high tier, which is probably where I would have put him once I restructured my tier list. I know I had him, but I had, like, 13 characters in top tier, and I had Sora's at the bottom of that before I, like, made 6 tiers. So with that in mind, it's minor. It's a tier difference. Again, it's still downplayed. No, absolutely, right? Absolutely, right? Like, I agree. Unless you're talking, like, my placement currently is downplay, which I don't think that's true. Right? I don't think that's true. I think Sora's is very good. I mean, again, this is me saying he's better than 85% of the game. I think he's better than Vasaraga. I will stand on that. And I think Voss is crazy. Where's Zoe? Yeah, again. Yep, cock. Yep, seems right. She's bad. She's not, like... It's not like she can't win ever or anything like that, but she's just not very good. Right? She's just not very good. We talked about it yesterday, so I'm not going to go into it in depth, but yeah. Putting Sora's above Voss IMO is really either selling Voss cheap or selling Sora's high. I'm selling Sora's high. I think Sora's is great, especially post-buff. This character does like the same amount of damage as Vasaraga in a lot of situations, outside of like a counter at close H. And he's got like, you know, he doesn't have the armor, but he has a fucking install that heals him. He's got like a better way to get around zoning and shit like that. I like him a lot. I think they are very strong. They're both very, very strong characters. 1k less health? Well, I mean, unless he installs, then he has more health usually. This is pre-Sora's nerfs though? Nerfs! Okay, I was gonna say. Yeah. That's why I'm saying pre-Sora's nerfs, or pre-Sora's buffs, I would have had him like here-ish, so it's a 1-tier difference, right? This is why I'm calling it minor downplay in my opinion. 1k less health unless he installs, where he has more health, much more health, than Vasaraga. Like, even with like 3 stacks, he has more health than Voss. Okay, so, Kag. Where's Kag? Minor downplay. Kag's a little better than that, for sure, right? Well, I mean, yeah, I think Kag's, like, again, about exactly a tier better than that. So, it's on the limit. If it was, like, a little bit more than that, I would have to say something. I would have to step in and handle it. But, Kag's very good. Kag's very, very good. This might be before Elsa discovered the bullshit that they're doing these days with Cagliostro, but if you look up downplay in the dictionary, the picture of a Cagliostro player there. No, I think most Kag down players don't play the game anymore, and the ones that still do are the ones who, like they say she's good, right? Again, the primary Kag player that I think of in my head that, like, is also vocal about shit is Elsa. And Elsa, I mean, Elsa upplays all of their characters to the extremes, right? But, I mean, with Kag, it doesn't feel like upplay, personally. But, like, you know, Elsa thinks, like, Nier is, like, top 2. Alright. So, UL. The Kag downplay started with her changes in release rising to her traps. Possibly. UL is... She's a little higher than I would put her, right? But she's also still, like, considered to be not very great. It's like the bottom, I guess the top of minor downplay, because the higher up you are here, the better, right? Because you're closer to Honest Abe. It's the top of minor upplay. I don't think UL is very good, but it's like 4 spots off. Close enough, right? Close enough, but I think it is, like, you know, a tier difference still. Let's see, where's Uno? It's a little better than I would say he is. That's a little better than I would say he is. That's a little bit, like, a tier, again, Uno's good. Uno's good for sure, but I think that's a little bit, like, Uno better than Cagliostro is a pretty funny one to me. Uno better than Loane, Uno better than Bubs, right? A lot of these is it's a little bit rough. It's a little bit rough. UL higher than Anila is crazy. I mean, we're gonna get to Anila, don't you worry. Eustace. Okay, this is before Eustace's buffs, right? Yeah, okay, here's my thing. I am the resident Eustace down player. So you might say that this is accurate before he got buffed, and now he's, like, over here, right? After his buffs, I think he's, like, here, right? Like, I put him roughly where they have him, a little higher, after he got buffed. Now, to my understanding, a lot of people think that Eustace is broken right now. They could be wrong. They could be right. I'm not fully aware of the scope of how big Eustace's buffs were yet. I think they were pretty good. There may be a lot of stuff that I don't know, because it's a very lab monster-heavy character. But before he got buffed in the wellness patch, it's like I'll put Eustace low top tier in your current lists. Yeah. I probably would have put Eustace, like, somewhere at the bottom of here, right? I think I would have put Q Elsa quote about Blue Grenade. I feel like I would have probably put Eustace, like, near the bottom of mid tier, and they have him at the bottom of high tier. So it's not like it's like a huge difference or anything, but to me that's minor upplay. That's minor upplay. He's good. He's good. But, like, yeah, I don't really fuck with Eustace as much before the patch. Blue Grenade is good, right? Blue Grenade is good, but I mean, I think that a lot of the Blue Grenade setups are not as airtight as people think that they are, right? Though I did learn yesterday from Insurgent that he has a manually timed H-Rekka into the low that actually beats Fuzzy, and you can't throw OS at either, which is nice. Difficult to do, but certainly doable. Alright, so, who's next? We got Seox. Again, see, Elsa has the best quotes, opposite of Rage Bait. Seox is a weird one, because again, I said it when I was making the tier list yesterday. Some days I wake up and Seox is, like, high tier in my head, and some days I wake up and he's mid tier. So, like, it's a little high, I guess. It's a little high for where I think he is. I think he's a little worse than this, in my opinion. I almost want to just put it here. Like, it's close enough, because again, like, many days I wake up and I go, Seox is strong and is probably fine. And some days I'm like, he's lacking just a little bit of something. So because I'm not, like, I already have him at the top of this tier and I could be talked very easily into putting him at the bottom of this one, it's close enough, right? It's close enough, in my opinion. Alright, this is pre-buff Vera. Remember, Vera is a lot better now than she was last patch. So, still lower than I'll put her. This is bottom 4 for Vera right here. I'll probably put Vera somewhere roughly in like the middle or lower end of mid-tier here before she got buffed. So I feel like Vera is Vera was better than people were giving her credit for even before she got buffed. But she got buffed and now she's real good. Honestly, she might even be better than this where I currently have her. But I feel like she was always a little better than people gave her credit for, personally. Again, I think it's another one of those ones where like you can compare her to Catalina in certain ways. They're like similar characters in certain ways, though Vera's much more rushdown oriented. And then people go, oh well, you know, she can't do X or Y or Z that Catalina can do, so she's fucking ass. Bubs. It's a little weak for Bubs, no? That's a little weak for Bubs. Having him in like high tier, it's a little weak for Bubs, in my opinion. I think he's pretty good. I think Bubs is pretty strong, and I think yeah, he's too solid. He's too versatile. They buffed his damage. His conversions are a lot better. His pressure is better. And he was already, I would have argued that Bubs was like here-ish before they buffed him in the Galleon patch, right? So like to then get those buffs in the Galleon patch, I feel like this is definitely a little too low. Having him in vaguely like middle of high tier here is a little too low for Beelzebub. Belial is close enough, right? I have him at the bottom of top tier. But again, I have more characters in my top tier than they have in theirs, right? So again, like basically this is him at like 5th, arguably 6th. I probably would switch Loane and Beatrix, but I'll probably stay 5th. So like this is 5th, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? Oh, he's not top 5, he's top 10. It's right. It's split, like, especially with the top tier, I think it gets to splitting hairs, right? I put her higher last patch than you and lower than you this patch, because her buffs only matter on stand hits. It does matter in up a lot, so she already did what she does now before. She just knows it twice as often. Well, I think that's a little, one, her Grand Blue Zone pressure is a lot more threatening because she can actually convert off Aged Arcane. And two, the install buffs are not just to make it more consistent to get into install, but it also makes install, like, base Vera a lot better. Base Vera can just close out rounds and kill you a lot more often than she could before. Base Vera now has comparable corner carry off more hits to Catalina than she did before, right? She gets it off like her like far M a lot of the time, or far H normally, counter hit far M and auto combo without needing crouch, right? So it's also a very big buff to base Vera, and install Vera's pressure is much better with Aged Arcane being plus on block, right? You know, I can see the install buffs. I didn't explore her install self enough. I mean, her install getting buffed at all is crazy because install Vera was already like maybe the best character in the game. But yeah, she has a plus on block, Aged Arcane cancel now, which is very silly. And again, the buff to Luminaria applies twice. It applies to base Vera. It's a buff to base Vera and a buff to the consistency of getting install Vera. And install Vera is better, and her Grand Blue Zone is better because of how Darkane got buffed. So I think Vera got buffed in pretty major ways, despite it being 4 lines of buffing. Abel. All right. I mean, listen. I don't think. Well, I mean, I guess. Okay, I had fewer tiers back in the day. Now, I think Abel got better last patch. I'm at the bottom of mid tier. Yeah, I guess it's bottom. Like, yeah, I guess so. Now that I think about, because I have to think about, I'm visualizing my tier list from the Galleon patch, but there are only 4 to 5 tiers in that one. I have 6 now. So Abel is already at the bottom of mid tier in that one. He probably would have dipped down into low tier, to the top of low tier. I guess it's close enough. It's on the lower end. I guess it's on the higher end, but like it's close enough. It's close enough. Slight downplay, I guess. Yeah, I mean they have a lot of characters in this tier, but it's close enough, honestly. Now that I think about it, because I do think Abel got better this patch, and I almost have him here now, right? I almost have him here now, so it's actually close enough. Close to being downplay. Like top here is like the closest to being downplay, which actually probably means that like you're really far off. You're really far off. You're really far off. You're far off. Yeah, it's like, yeah, something like this is probably closer to, and you're like dead set in the middle. It's actually just straight up, you know, you're good. No, actually, no, I guess it actually is closer to this. Let's see. Okay, well, listen. I mean, I've talked Anila to death. This is like the poster child for me of like a character gets compared to Catalina and is worse on every metric, so that you decide that she's not a character at all. Shotos are very strong in this game, as it turns out, right? Shoto. And I mean, for my money as well, right? You could also include, like there's a lot of very, like, I've seen Europe put this character very highly, higher than I would put him, but you know, this character's very strong, this character's very strong, well, she's not really a Shoto, but like, these sort of like just characters that just do things with their buttons, put you in the corner, and then do corner shit from there. It's a very loaded archetype in this game. Like, 85% of them are top tier, or like the tier right below it. Anila is fucking not this bad, man. Bottom 2 for this character is ridiculous. Like, again, she feels way better than Vikala, way better than Nier, and honestly, like, again, there's a notable, like, she's not close to dropping down into this tier either. This is pretty, like, I don't have that many characters in these lower tiers, but, like, Anila is nowhere close to bottom 2. It's I mean, I've talked it to death, but it's ridiculous, right? This character is just, like, yeah, I don't know, man. It's what's the list on the left? This is a tier list that Otto made, where he combined 21 different tier lists from higher level players, and yeah, averaged out their tier list to make this one. Anila has a complete and functional kit. She has lower ward on most situations comparatively. Not even true. Anila has lower ward on her counter hit close H. Anila's mid-screen damage is the same, if not better, than most of the game. And her average, like, auto combo into hit damage is average, right? Anila is only a low damage character in if she gets a counter hit, which matters, but Anila's not a low damage character. She's an average damage to high damage character. Average damage in the corner, like, genuinely high damage a lot of the times with meter in the mid-screen or off 66H. And yeah, no. Did Hades 2 come out today? Did it? That's cool. Percival is the healthiest top 1. Percy top 1 is my agenda, yeah. Nier has real issues, consistent functionality, and Vicky shivers at the sight of a rolling opponent. Yes. So yeah, I mean, this is ridiculous to me, right? Greg has been hitting me with too many stray hits into U-Sheep to think she's bad. Yeah, she's not great, by the way. You'll notice, like, by number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have Anila bottom 10, but that's only because somebody has to be bottom 10, right? I think there are big jumps in these lower parts of the tier list, right? These two characters are, like, obviously, right? These two characters are obviously worse than the rest of the game to me. And these 4, Fairy I could be talked into putting, like, right here. But, like, these 3, at least, are obviously worse than the people above them, right? There's big jumps in the low tier there. So, like, Anila, while technically she is bottom 9 here, the jump from this to this is huge in my head, right? Greg is unironically Anila's strongest up player. Maybe? I feel like when I hear Greg talk about Anila, it feels very reasonable, right? It feels I mean, I guess he has my opinion on Anila by and large, right? So I guess maybe I'm Anila's strongest up player too, but Siegfried's. Yep, Cock. Yep, Siegfried is still good, but he's certainly not a top tier anymore. He's been hit enough. Very strong character, very solid. Yep, because Anila players are for the most part Giga Doomers, I guess so. Very solid. Definitely would not be surprised to see a Siegfried in top 8 or anything. By the way, like, as far as, like, results, because that's always the conversation that gets brought up, literally any of these characters, like, from, I'm not kidding, Vayne and up, or even Seox and up, arguably, I would not be surprised at all to see in a top 8 at a major, right? So, like, I'm not at all surprised to see Siegfried, like, do really well at a major or something like that. It is what it is. When Yup Vagina, after the radical bottom surgery and then the reassignment. Greg talks about Anila the way Gabba talks about Ladiva, the way I talk about Charlotta. Gabba doesn't upplay Ladiva, does he? Gabba, for the longest time, called me he actually... I think he called me a comedian for putting Ladiva in mid tier, like, after the Galleon patch. Maybe. I don't think Gabba is an, again, Gabba mostly, I think, he thinks Ladiva is mid. She is. What is this upplay, downplay tier list? You used to upplay a diva. I think you rate her fine now. I think I upplayed Ladiva. Yes, I upplayed Ladiva because I wasn't taking into account the meta, basically. Like, so I used to put Ladiva in high tier. I think, again, on her merits, that is true. I just put her at the bottom of high tier, but I think I had to at some point be like, you know what? If we're doing this for top level, which, like, what all tier lists are supposed to be doing, the meta is just, like, you're just gonna see so many more of her bad matchups, because all of her bad matchups are the best characters in the game, right? So that matters. Maybe we will do the JP thing and put Ladiva in the Ladiva tier, because again, like, on her merits, this character is probably the most fucked by the meta, I would say, right? Like, it just so happens that, like, her 5 worst matchups are, like, Catalina, Percival, Matera, Lawayne, and Belial, I swear to God, right? Or, like, it's, like, Catalina, Percival, Matera, Lawayne, and Kag, or something like that, or, like, Ladiva's 5 worst matchups, and they're, like, arguably, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, you can't make it up, right? You can't make it up. Like, you can't make this shit up. Genuinely, the top 5 characters in the game are, like, Ladiva's 5 worst matchups, or something like that. So I think I was upplaying her with that in mind, for sure, in hindsight. I was not taking into account just... The meta is not, like, kind of bad for Ladiva. It's, like, as bad as it could possibly be for a character. I don't think any of us legitimately think we're upplaying. Well, I'm saying, as a third party, I don't think Gabba is upplaying either. But anyway, Nier. Honestly, not putting Nier in bottom tier is upplay. I know it's like a 3-spot difference, but again, these lower ends of the, like, these higher ends of the tier list for me have a smaller gap, which is why, like, you know, I can put Catalina like top 1 to 3 and they can put her top 7 and I'm like, it's close enough. But like this to me, there are like stratifications at bottom tier, right? The famed general public or the mains of the characters. This tier list that Otto made that averages out 21 different tier lists made by people he talked to, which again, presumably are like grandmaster level characters, net play warriors, things like this, like on the higher end of the community. This, right? Which is the closest thing we have to like an accurate community tier list for the 2.1 patch, right? In my head, there's like big stratification in these bottom tiers. Putting Nier anywhere outside of bottom tier to me is upplay, right? Minor upplay. This isn't character main opinions? No. Like minor upplay, but upplay. Even putting her bottom 5 and not bottom 2 is upplay. That's how bad this character is in my head. Grim, last patch, they put him as top 1. Very easily arguable to be top 1. It makes perfect sense, right? That very solid argument that Grim was the best character in the game. I don't think I would have said that last patch. I probably would have. I've always been a little higher on, you know, the sort of defensive style Shoto characters, like Catalina and Percival and shit like that. But like, very solid argument. Grim was best character in the game last patch, and he's best character in the game in this one. Obviously now I think he's a little worse, but he got nerfed in like a pretty noticeable way. Everyone but Lance and Lotta mains would be a major downplay. So true. Always torn on this. I think Nier is not supposed to play Strike Throw anymore, and she's functionable like that. But how good can you be not playing Strike Throw in a Strike Throw game? Yeah, I mean that, and also like the single, like the only, you could maybe argue 6XL for sure, but like, you know, the only or one of the two overpowered mechanics in the video game completely fucking kills her, right? Brave Counter completely just turns this character off in a way that it's pornographic. Eska Oof will be fucking proud what Brave Counter does to death. Well, it's pornographic what it does to death. Let's not talk about Nier, okay? We're not fucking Eska Oof in this bitch. Let's see, who's next? Lucilius? Yep, cock. Yep, that's right. Lucilius is pretty mid after the nerfs. I don't think Lucilius is bad, but he's pretty fucking mid. Seems right to me, man. Seems right to me. Lucilius is not great. Right? Wild way to describe a character. Yep, cock. 2B. Before her buffs? Yeah, before 2B's buffs. Yep, cock. Yeah, seems right to me. Right? 2B was vaguely high tier in my mind before her buffs too. Now you could probably argue her top tier and somewhere within it. I could even be argued into moving her up. I have her kind of at the bottom here. I could be argued into moving her up a little bit, but that sounds right to me. Before buffs, 2B being just like strong but not like amazing. A little lower than I would put her, but it's not enough to like really splitting hairs if I'm gonna call it anything but Honest Abe. Well, I would have her like here or something like that, but you know, who cares? Vayne. Oh. Listen. This is my new upplay cape, okay? Who am I upplaying now? I love Vayne. I think Vayne is actually, well, Vayne felt way better than I expected to me when I was playing him to master. I'm gonna call this major downplay. I'm gonna say that Vayne is 2 tiers better than that list places him. Maybe that's fucking crazy. Maybe I'm losing my mind. Maybe Vayne is actually still just, he's not that good and the buffs didn't matter. Before the buffs, is that accurate for Vayne? Before the buffs, that's too high, maybe. Before the buffs, he probably is down. He has to be down here with like Vikala and Nier, right? Before the buffs, Vayne probably has to go down here, I would say. I think Vayne's buffs were a really big deal though. His mid-screen got a lot better, and 5U became like, it's such a good anti-6XL move, and guess what? Right? Turns out that 6XL is really fucking important. Being really good into 6XL is a good thing. And Vayne he used to be really bad into it because of how shield worked. 5U is really good. Right? 5U is really good. He does hard counter certain characters, but I think even in general, he's just like a, you know, he's like a relatively competent character with his button and move speed and things like this. His character plummets if you dodge 214X and 6XL through shield. I disagree because I don't think that energy destruction is at all like what's good about him. And again, I don't think shield and neutral is what's good about him at all, right? No. So I don't think these are not the things that make me think that Vayne is good. It's not him shielding in neutral, and it's not him slamming at you in neutral. I think Vayne is often judged, like my new take is I think that Vayne is often judged as if he's a zoner, and this character just isn't that. He's just not that. This character is like a bruiser style, like just kind of like hit you, do a shit ton of damage, relatively capable in the mid-range with good buttons and very good reward off of them like a lot of the time. You don't think his strength is his ability to hold you at range? I better not, because he's horrible at that. What? Who the fuck can Vayne zone in this video game outside of, like, maybe her sometimes? Probably, like, Swords, Charlotta, and Voss. If that was his strength, not zone? Hold you at a range. Is that range a long range? Because wouldn't that be zoning? Keep at a mid-pokey distance? Yeah, I think he's good at the mid-range, and he gets incredibly high damage off of his hits in the mid-range, right? And then when he puts you in the corner, shield is actually a pretty oppressive button in the corner. When he knocks you down and shields, you can't strike tech anymore. Vayne forces you to throw tech, and then you have to, like, he has a really good throw bait that only works against throw teching, right? In his 2-1-4M. It's terrible if you're strike teching, but it's really good if you're throw teching, and he turns off strike tech. So I think he's also very oppressive in the corner with, by the way, just straight up some of the highest damage in the video game. Point blank, period. Vayne has some of the highest damage in the game off auto combo, off a lot of his far pokes, obviously off anti-airs, and in the corner, both meterless and metered, and off counter hits and not off counter hits. This character hits like a fucking monster truck, and he has pretty oppressive corner situations. He's good in the mid-range, and then sometimes, right, sometimes in certain matchups, he just auto wins. Yeah, no way, right? He's really good at chip, that too, right? There's a lot that's quite strong about Vayne. I think he is often not judged on being a mid-range, like, bruiser type, like, aggressive mid-range character. And I think at that role, he's pretty fucking good, right? He's the bottom of this tier. I'm not gonna cape for him that hard and say he's, like, as good as Grim or something, right? But, like, I do think Vayne is... I don't want any more buffs for Vayne. I think Vayne is fine as he is. I think they made Vayne strong. And he has, like, one of the best 5Us in the entire game, by the way, on top of everything that I'm saying. So, like, I don't even really vibe with the... You could honestly argue me to put Vayne a little higher up here. But, like, I don't vibe with the Vayne is mid argument anymore. I don't think... Or Vayne is bad is, like, ridiculous. Vayne is... this is what this is, right? This is post-buffs. Vayne is bad. Vayne and Nier next to each other is fucking ridiculous. I still don't think his mid-range is good enough to fight 6XL. I mean, 5U, right? Like, yeah, 5U is a button that he can throw out. He can... Like, you're not gonna dash up and throw him. It's safe on block. And if you 6XL into it, he either gets a punish into Oki, or, like, he's safe, right? Really not, like, yeah, nothing really happens. And again, his buttons, he has 6 active frames, something like that. He has 6 active frames on his far H and 5 active frames on his 2M. He's got good defensive pokes to stop someone preemptively 6 going in, right? 5U is too slow to counter at 6XL. It only combos on close H. Yeah, but, you know, you 6XL and for your trouble, you, like, it's Vayne's turn, right? Like, it's not gonna counter hit it, but it can punish it, and then Vayne wins neutral by doing that. It's one of the better anti-6XL tools in the game. If it, like, had a guaranteed counter hit on, or, like, even a consistent counter hit on 6XL, this character would be broken. He'd be crazy against, like, the best move on every character, right? If it was consistently counter-hitting 6XL, it will be fucking ridiculous. As it stands, it's a very good RPS for Vayne into 6XL, alongside very good mid-range buttons, right? I think he's aight. I tested that, I just threw him before it came out. Maybe it's better on preemption. Yeah, no, well, you can't beat 6XL on reaction. No one can do that, right? To beat 6XL, you do it on preemption, right? And it's a decent idea. It's a decent idea. After yesterday, I kind of want to make a pseudo-objective measure of the cast damage. I'm curious what the best way to go about it is. To average out every character's mid-screen meterless, mid-screen metered, mid-screen with 1 RS, corner BMB. I think one thing, Tubby, you're missing is far normal conversion in the mid-screen. Because a lot of the game gets good damage off auto combo. The characters who are, like, really elite at mid-screen damage get good damage off, like, their far M, their 2M, things like that, right? That's where, like, you'll see characters like Ladiva start to break away from the pack. Characters like Catalina will start to break away from the pack, even meterless sometimes, right? Characters like Vayne start to break away from the pack there. Vasaraga, shit like that, right? That's where you really need to... Sora's. Poke into whatever, yeah. That's, like, the one thing I think you're missing. Poke into whatever, metered and meterless. And you can weight them however you want. Beatrix. Where is she here? Close enough. Yep, cock. If anything, I'm saying she's a little weaker than they have her here, but... Yep, cock. Beatrix is really strong, and they say she's really strong. Having meterless poke conversions outside corner is an insane privilege. Guess who has that, by the way? Yep, cock. Sure man can't stop saying cock. It's true. Versuja. Yep, cock. Almost exactly where I have her. It's like this is actually damn near This is the closest one on like sheer number, right? I have her on number 8, they have her number 6. Yeah, almost exactly the same, right? Versuja is very good. To me, she's not quite at that like the top tier, but yeah. Stream Mike's a little cock, and that's okay. Is there something wrong? Is there some issue? Oh, am I not allowed to like a little bit of cock every now and then? Is that what we're saying? Is that okay? I didn't realize you guys were all fucking bigots. That's fine. That's fine. It's okay. You can you know do whatever you want. It's still Lance Tubby. I really think if you do that calculation, it's gonna be Fairy for sure, right? It's definitely Fairy. Fairy is absolutely the lowest damage character in the game on average, I thought. Lance is not even close anymore, I don't think. Right? It's gotta be Fairy. Fairy's gotta be number of, like, if you actually, like, is she? It's gotta be Fairy. Like, Fairy's good convert. I think the results will surprise everyone. Fairy doesn't feel that low damage? Nah, man. It's gotta be Fairy. It's gotta be Fairy by a while, too. Right? Like, Fairy gets, like, characters far M damage off her auto combo. Penis. Yeah, that's true. Vicala. Exactly right. Yep. This one. Vicala's bottom 1. I think she's bottom 1. Good job. This is the most Honest Abe that Honest Abe gets. Well done. Sandy? Little low. Little low. Top of mid tier, I'd say top. Sandy, I think Sandy is also a victim of the community comparing everyone to Catalina. He's not as good as Catalina, but he's not that much worse than Catalina, and Catalina is amazing. So, it's because Fairy can combo with pull from her normals on hit with EX Whip. No, she can't. She can do that on far H, right? Off of far M, on counter hit far M as well. Even then, off counter hit far M into EX Whip pull, that's not gonna be bad. That's gonna be okay. That's not gonna be pretty decent. I think it'll be like over 3K. That's pretty good on a counter hit far M. That'll be on the slightly higher end probably. But yeah, like her general damage off like a far M or a 2M or something is gonna be like 1,000. It's gonna be horrendous, right? It's gonna be horrendous. It's probably my biggest surprise. Sandy? I think a minor downplay is appropriate. I still people still saying he and Galleon are the most disappointing characters in the game. That is strange to me for sure. But yeah, I think Sandy is. Where'd I put him? Where is he? I've lost my boy. No, not Honest Abe. Minor downplay. There you go. I think he's probably like a good tier better than that. So I shouldn't feel low damage to me. Low tippy top for sure. Yeah, I mean low corner damage as well, right? Very low meter damage, right? I don't know. Has to be close far H to get the EX Whip without counter hits. There you go. Sandy seems pretty good when I talk about him. Yeah, I feel like Sandy's pretty good. Again, Sandy is worse Catalina. That's the problem, right? Catalina is fucking ridiculous, right? Like in many ways, Sandalphon is just Catalina, but a little worse at almost everything. Outside of like some very situational things you can do with the elements that Catalina can't do. But like, again, if you want to tell me Catalina was the best character in the game, I don't think that's a crazy thing to say. So, a little worse than Catalina at everything is still a very strong character, right? Galleon. This feels much better to have access to consistent lower damage, not having consistent access to high damage. I mean, everyone has access. If Fairy counts as consistent lower damage, everyone has access to that damage consistently, right? I guess unless you're talking about like from full screen, that's fair, right? Fairy is gonna be, you know, getting damage no one's getting from like, you know, 85% of the screen away most of the time. That's an interesting video idea, actually. Galleon. Okay, listen, I'm just not gonna. I have to stop talking about Galleon. I have to stop talking about Galleon. Galleon to me is I think a lot of people would say like, oh, Galleon is like the Oliva problem, right? Where like the meta is just really hard for her. No, it's not really. It's this bitch, right? This one, this guy too, right? But it's like it really is like these two characters, right? He can fight like almost everyone else that yeah, right? Yeah, Galleon can fight literally everyone else that I have on here pretty well, right? She can fight like everyone here as well pretty well, right? Again, outside of you are less important than you used to be, but you would give her trouble as well. And then they didn't think Luane's that good, so like yeah, right? So yeah, no, this is ridiculous. Galleon is very strong. I'm just gonna I've talked it to death, but I can't do this anymore. Wilderness and the EX characters were not in the patch. We're not in this patch where this tier list was made. If I had to guess. This is more so, we don't talk about Galleon tier placement of the Brick SPD channel. No, we do. We never stop talking about it, which is why at a certain point, I have to just be like, you know what? Look at the 17 other times. I literally have a video called I am once again talking about Galleon's strengths or something like that with like Bernie Sanders sitting there. So like, look at one of the 17 other times I've talked about it. I can't do this, man. Well, okay, if I had to guess from what I'm kind of hearing from the general community, EX Narmaya feels a little downplayed to me. This character feels like she's a little better than I hear a lot of people give her credit for. EX Gran feels about right, maybe slightly upplayed, but close enough to about right. This character is very good. EX Jita is not great, but I do hear people talk about her like she fucking sucks. So I feel like that's a little bit of downplay as well. And Willness is probably about right. Everyone is saying this character is strong and to differing extents, but like, you know, I feel like most, if anything, I've heard a little bit of upplay on Willness sometimes, but about right, right? I feel like most people are saying Willness is pretty strong and a lot of stuff he can do is dumb, but he's got some weaknesses, etc., etc. Sound like these are not obviously in this tier list here because these characters did not exist in this patch when this tier list was made, but this one is more general community sentiment, right? Feels like a minor upplay. I mean, I might be minorly upplaying Willness, to be real with you, but I do think this character is very good. If you think that I am upplaying Willness, then he's definitely minor upplay. I see some people talk about Willness like he should be up here, which I think is a little crazy, but not most people. Most people do not think Willness is that good. I thought that initially, but again, after thinking about it a little bit more, you know, he does actually have, not a lot of them, by the way, but he does have a couple of weaknesses. Namely, to me, really, the biggest thing that I don't like about Willness is his inability to get good conversions off of non-counter hit Brave counter, right? That, to me, is the biggest thing. Like, I know it doesn't sound like a lot, right? I say this as Willness' top tier and his worst matchups are far more doable than they seem. Believable? Yeah. Believer? Yes. Gallia, major downplay. TBH, I agree about people talking about her like she's complete. TBH, I agree people talking about like she's completely unviable. Yes, I think it's two things. One, I think people often, again, the same way people rate Vayne as like a zoner, they rate Gallian as a grappler, and she's not. Gallian is the same kind of character that Catalina is. And as well, I think I so often hear people say that, oh, Gallian, her matchups are just so bad. You know, so much of the game is just so rough for her. And I'm like, who? Who? Like, people always talk, like, someone influential said that Gallian has like 15 bad matchups, and everyone else just ran with that. I don't know who it was. Because, like, it's Matera, Lowain, Fairy are very bad for Gallian, and that matters. But, like, I feel like she can fight everyone else in the cast incredibly competently. So I just don't see what people are talking about at all, right? But who else? Yeah. Grimnir? Even then, I saw a lot of talk about why Grim could be bad for Gallian. I see it. It doesn't feel nearly as bad as like it could be like I could see it being like advantage Grimnir or something like that. But like the ones where I'm like Matera and Lowain are really bad for Gallian, right? All the Grimnirs think it's garbage. I get that. I never really got convinced, man, of the arguments that I heard, right? I never got convinced, man, of the arguments that I heard personally for it. Even Zane said it's garbage. I get that. No, I know that. I still don't agree. I don't think. Maybe I'm missing something, but like I've heard some of the arguments of him, like, you know, the fact she has a harder time than you think dealing with Seal Dash. He kind of just runs circles around her, and he like zones her out forever, things like that. I've heard these. I don't really know that I buy them, and yeah, even less so now probably. But Willness is jagged, but his design doesn't feel jagged. It's weird. I don't think Willness is jagged at all. I think Willness is much more well-rounded than he's given credit for. Right? I think this character can play mid-range well, and he can rush down well, and he's got like pretty solid defenses overall, considering he has a 7-frame close L, and he's got a mirrorless DP, and he's pretty good into a wide variety of character archetypes. Yeah, I don't think he's jagged at all, right? The big thing for me with Willness is that he does, again, this matters more. It matters more than it sounds like it matters, but I feel like Willness does not get anything, basically, unless he has H-Knee up, which is a very valuable cooldown for him. He doesn't want to spend just like that off a non-counter hit Brave counter. And considering how often that happens, non-counter hit Brave counter is probably one of the most common occurrences in the game outside of someone blocking a 660. So him being bad in that situation is the character's biggest weakness, for sure. Right? He just doesn't get anything. Doesn't get anything good. And hell, even if he knees, it's like the only thing on your mental stack, you can often reaction DP that. Alright? So that sucks for him. He kind of has to like resets to neutral with his back to the wall when he gets a Brave counter that's not counter hit. That's horrible, because it's like the strongest mechanic in the game, and he gets bad reward off of it, right? And then obviously he doesn't have a 6XL, which is also a big deal. The only place that you think his rushdown is good? Yeah. I think having an unreactable at the rate, if you're using it at like good range, right? Having an unreactable plus on block neutral skip, and then just having the sheer amount of reward that he has on his pressure, combined with like a real 50-50, a ton of mental stack, and a decent ability to play strike throw, and like again a real 50-50 with the camera Oki. I think it makes Willness really scary. I think he's good at getting in your face, and he's good at killing you once he gets there. But it matters against Cat because she has the best BC bet in the game. So true. But yeah, him not having a 6XL, I think, is hurts him mostly actually on his pressure. I think Wilness's pressure, his strike throw, is hurt by not being able to get back in once he gets pushed out as easily, right? He has to basically spend knee, and then, you know, he's kind of on a... He can only do it so many times, right? Before he's... before he kind of gets fucked over. Or he has to try and steal his turn back with something that's not real. Or he has to do a lot more, like, walking, right? A lot more walking, which is, again, Wilness can run pretty competent strike throw, but it would just be so much easier and better if he had 6XL. I don't think I really feel the lack of 6XL on Wilness anywhere, except for that, like running strike throw and getting reward off Brave counter, right? Yeah, Catalina, I mean, Catalina getting close M on the light wall launch was definitely something. But yeah, this seems right to me. This seems right to me, I think. Hey, guess what? Again, assumedly, Otto got this tier list from a lot of players. It does cost meter. Can use Uni to get back in. It's minus on block, right? His only, like, the only plus on block specials he has is H&E and 2-2M, which is pretty fake, right? So, now, to be fair, Wilness can just, once he gets pushed out, do a little bit of Hadron nonsense, wait for the H&E cooldown to come back, and then he's right back in there. He's very good in the Grand Blue Zone, but it is a decision he has to make, which he wouldn't have to deal with if he had a 6XL, right? So, but yeah. Well, Otto presumably got this from some, you know, at least Grandmaster level players, not necessarily the best players in the world or anything like that, but like Grandmaster level players and above. And guess what? Turns out I end up agreeing with a lot more of it when it's that kind of sample size, right? The things that are either in like minor, again, within a tier, I would consider to be pretty reasonable, right? Like they're disagreements, but I wouldn't call them crazy. So like there's exactly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 placements that I like disagree with strongly enough to say something about it out of 37. That's a pretty fucking good batting average. Wait, hold up. Otto's based? I think he says you might have a 90% agreement rate with this tier list at the beginning. Is he right?
I have actually tier list. What makes this tier list?
Wait.
How? Biased tier list that I'm... So what I did after that, along with mine, how I created this tier list because it may 80% agreement.
What is it?
But if you stick along for the journey, I believe that you might have a 90% agreement rate on this tier list.
That's a fucking content creator right there. He read me like a book. I mean, again, I would call minor downplay a minor upplay. Like, I would call these within the realm of agreement, right? It's close enough. So, like, what's 31 out of 37? It's not 90, but it's close. 83, 84? You know what, Otto? You're not so bad, man. You're not so bad. I fuck with that. 84% agreement. Zoe too high, tier list is ass. So true. So true, bestie. So true. Zoe not bottom 0. Zoe not in a separate tier list where her name is just Dumpster Girl. Tier list is ass. Anyway, fellas, that is gonna do it, I think. I want to do a lot more stuff. Zoe on the tier list. Yeah, how dare they? How dare they pretend that Cygames has not just forgotten about her? Galleon not in Fader than Portraits? True. Tier list is ass. Yeah. Galleon not inside me and me inside her? Tier list is ass. Galleon wearing clothing on the tier list? Tier list is garbage. Galleon not currently giving me a thigh pillow and calling me a good boy? Tier list is fucking useless, man. That's all it is. We will rue the day they buff Zoe? I don't think so. I mean, she could be. Obviously, they could buff her to be like top 5, right? It could happen. But I think Zoe could get a lot of buffs and still be very reasonable right now. Zoe would become released near and Tubby would say she's low tier, mid tier, and Tubby corrects you to low. Very true, very true. Imagine 30 frame negative edge lightning. Don't even worry about it, man. We dragons have no limits. But yeah, that is going to do it for me, fellas. I will see you on Saturday if you are a subscriber or a YouTube member. I want to work on a smaller video, I think. One of those ideas that I stole. But we'll see if I start on it now or later. I might start doing members-only videos for a little bit. Like if I make like a, one of these more high-effort videos, I might make it like members only for like a week or something, because I feel like a little bad for the YouTube members sometimes. It feels they're not getting quite as much bang for their buck. So I think I might start doing stuff like that, but that's a whole other thing. If you're a YouTube member, if you're a Twitch sub, Saturday, sub-only stream, maybe some coaching, maybe some haunts, who knows, I'm not sure. Maybe some Umusume, Galleon and Major downplay. They had ours like bottom 5, brother. Yeah, that's absolutely Galleon and Major downplay. But anyway, all that being said, I am going to go. I'm going to go now. I'll see you on Saturday if you're subbed or a YouTube member. I'll see you on Sunday if you're not for... I'm not sure yet. Maybe getting everyone bottom 5 is a bit much. I think it's really much. I think the Galleon matchup problem is greatly exaggerated, but like I just can't. I just can't. Okay. I think Galleon is very bad into Matera, certainly. Very bad into Fairy, very bad into Lwane. Probably not great into Eustace, but I think she can fight a lot of the other better characters in the game very well. Anyway, Anyway, thank you very much for the 1 gifted membership right there, Razzle. Much appreciated. Again, I promise, YouTube members, you guys are awesome. I think there's like 10 of you or something. And I will... Oh, Zan! Look at that! Zan got it. Nice. That's my goat. I promise I will give you guys more bang for your buck soon. There will be a members-only video on your your timeline. I'm gonna say before next Sunday is over, not 2 days from now, like 9 days from now. Okay? Okay? Okay. Okay? Okay. Okay? Okay. Okay? Okay. Okay? Okay. Have a wonderful day, fellas. Peace.